Hello, it is good to see you again, friends of Al-Kharid, and welcome back for the 7th podcast, the Friends of Al-Kharid podcast, where we are going to be talking through all things Chronicle related today. We're going to be going through some competitive standings, how the competitive world's looking at these times, the ladder system. We did a live Dungeoneering draft, and we'll talk through a deck that's been used quite a lot on ladder recently. So as always, joining me, it's going to be currently rank world number 1, I believe.
Of course.
It's Glenn.
Don't sound so surprised.
I'm very surprised.
Yeah. Well, hello again this week. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. Everyone has been really busy on the new ladder system.
Everyone's been really salty, is what you mean?
Yeah, it's been very entertaining listening to a lot of people on ladder. I'm just sitting at the top and like, I'm enjoying myself. I don't know about the rest of you. Anyway, with us tonight we've got two fellow top 10 players.
Alright.
First of all, we've got... Yeah, I'm just going to rub it in for you. First of all, we've got the leader of Team Cabbage, and it's Musher.
Hey man. Yeah, so I was number 1 at one point until Glenn managed to steal that from me, but... You know, top 10's alright, I guess, and they're Unforgiven.
Yeah, it's not so bad. And alongside him, we have the leader of Team Meme, and that's Unforgiven.
Hi. Yeah, hi. Barely on the top 10 too, so it's good.
Salty Unforgiven.
No,
Seems
it's
good.
fine.
I'm not gonna lie. Whenever you start losing ranks, you are very funny to listen to.
No, I always stay calm.
Can't
That's my
confirm.
friend as a player.
How many times did you threaten to remove the game, like, earlier today? 2 or 3 times?
No, not even once. I think you're just making shit up at this point.
Yeah, I believe it. So, talking about the ladder, because we've got 3 top 10 players, so it's kind of spoilt most of the ladder. We get straight into it. So, at top we have Glenn. Second is currently Interjection. And then we have a few names that maybe aren't expected in the top 10. We have Toad, Silverchase, Tom the Bomb, Procyon. We come into a couple more people we know. It's Not Easy, who's obviously been right at the top for the longest of times. Musher and Unforgiven's 10th, and a little shout out to the judge as well for being 9th. No idea who that is, but more power to you.
There's a lot of names I don't recognise there. And I need to give a massive shout out to Ryan, not
Yes.
this Ryan, but better Ryan. Who has actually managed to get his free-to-play account into Diamond, and that's floating around near the top 10 as well as his main.
I was going to say, earlier in the week
That's ridiculous.
he had both of there, didn't he, earlier
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
week? That's mad.
It was insane.
I think, he was 5th and 10th with his 2
Meanwhile,
accounts.
I barely get 1 account in.
Well, yeah, if I move the screen capture down, you'd see I'm currently ranked 29 Diamond, and anyone that knows, like, follows the podcast, that's quite an achievement for me to be even near the top. I mean, I don't usually play the game a lot, and the last 4 days I've literally had nothing to do, so I've been laddering, and I climbed from Bronze 4 or Bronze 3, wherever you started, up to Diamond. And it was an adventure, but I think it took me 196 games, or 200 and some games.
Wow.
It's not bad. Not bad at all.
That's commitment for 4 days.
Yeah,
And now you're in
days.
Diamond. Is it worth it?
No, not at all. Like, Diamond is literally so bad. It's so annoying.
That's actually the bit I find funny, though, is that everyone's, you know, when they're in plat, they're like, right, we need to get to Diamond, boys, you know, we need to get it. As soon as they get into Diamond, they're like, what the fuck is this?
I regret everything. Yeah, I
But
think...
at the same time, I feel the ladder has been more diverse than ever before in the terms of how many decks are out there. In the top, way top at least.
I mean, we had a massive spike last night of everyone playing Grief Linzer, but after playing today, like, barely anyone stuck with it. It's a bit strange. It was winning so many games. It was just, like, all over the place with Grief Linzer, and it was doing so well, and then today we started playing, and it's just not there anymore. There's no reason. It's just a bit weird.
It's because I think it's because some people are playing AP game Vanescula, and that deck does so reasonably well at least.
I think it's
against
only
the
probably one of the only counters to the current Grief Linzer out there.
It's the best counter that we have available at least that people have discovered so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hopesan has a decent record against it, but apart
Yeah,
from
it's
that,
okay.
like, Grief Linzer isn't weak against anything in particular. It can hold its own against anything.
How many people have we got in Diamond at the minute? I think it's like 37, 38?
I'm pretty sure it's
nearly
close to 40.
Yeah, I know.
Goth Girl is
I
the
let
most
2 in
recent.
earlier.
Yeah.
I literally lost twice against Goth, so she got promoted, and then I lost to Crazy Helm in his promotion game, so he got up.
Oh, you let Crazy Helmet.
Yeah. I'm not a very good gatekeeper, guys. Put me on border patrol, and we'll see how many people get in the country. But yeah, it's rough up here. Put it that way. You win 15 million games, and you climb 1 rank, and you lose 1, and you go down about 15 ranks. It's a bit.
Yeah, I think the main thing that I want for the next update is to be able to see our ELO ratings.
Yeah.
Because at the moment there is no reason for me to play apart from once every couple of days or so to make sure I don't decay. Now I have played a little bit more than that. I managed to keep winning, but I'm just terrified that as soon as I lose 1 game, I'll drop so many ranks. If I could see like what ELO everyone had and how far ahead I was and whatever.
I was gonna say,
and I could understand that I could actually build a lead, like a substantial lead at the top, then I'd play. But I think we need to understand more about how this system actually calculates your ranks.
The other thing is, like, you don't play because you've got no reason to. But if you saw Interjection flying up and his elo was like literally 1 point off yours, you'd be shitting yourself to the point where you'd probably try and win a few games just to get that lead back again. Especially coming right to the end of the season, like eventually, it'd be nice to just be able to see the numbers.
At the moment, because I don't know how far ahead or how close I am to him, it doesn't feel like it's worth the risk to play regularly.
Risk versus reward and all that.
So I've decided to jump on my
A
ult.
lot of people on the top 10 also feel the same way, even though they're not number 1. I can see a few names that I haven't seen playing in a few days at all now, and that seems to be the thing with the top 10, where after people reach a certain rank, they don't want to keep playing anymore.
Yeah, well, it shows, because if you hit like 15 and win 1 game, you can go like 6th, because everyone who gets to the top 10 stops playing, so all their elos stay the same, and then eventually you win and go above them, and you do exactly the same, and then that block moves down a little bit, and then that person, and it just keeps doing it. So it's very, very close at the bottom. I know I won 3 games, like earlier, I won 3 games, went up 2 ranks. I lost 3 games, went down like 7 ranks. So this is fucking good. I need to climb back up again. But even since not playing, I went up a rank, so that's good. That means someone's gone below me.
I think today it has actually been people have been more spread apart. So a couple of days ago, if you were playing, 1 win could put you up, like you say, 5 or 6 ranks. But today I've found it's taken 2 or 3 wins per rank. So I think you are starting to get that divide that you expect.
Yeah.
So I think the main issue is. Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
Go on.
Sorry. Okay.
It's the thing about
No, it's alright. It's alright. I was done. It's alright.
Yeah, Unforgiven, go.
Yeah, so it's the thing where you can't see your rank. So, where was I going with this?
Salt Town, probably.
What were we talking about again?
No idea.
MMR ranking system.
So I'm kind of hoping, because I've won, I think, 5 or 6 games without losing since I've been number 1. So I'm kind of hoping I've built up a little bit of a lead, but I've got no idea if that's true or not.
No. It's a bit weird, I think, how the ELO system works, and it looks like if you play someone the same rank as you and win, you get a little bit. If you lose, you lose a lot. Like it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if they want to give us numbers, because it seems a bit confusing. I know they said in the Discord at least that having the numbers there might confuse newer players. But at the end of the day, if you're in Diamond, you're not a newer player.
Yeah,
like you should seriously know what you're doing if you're there.
Games to get there, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus,
but
it's not exactly uncommon. Like in other things, like chess, for instance, which is obviously where Elo first comes from. There, everyone's numbers are essentially displayed. That's the only thing you have to go off.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's something just pointing out in the chat. The problems that people are having, I think, but at least with the top like 40 players in Diamond, it will all be sorted as soon as more and more people get into Diamond. And
Yeah.
we're seeing it. We're seeing a lot more people push. And I know there's a few people that are at least very prevalent in the Discord, such as Skizik is there. I think not Alcus, Bloodburn. These guys are all very, very close in Plat, and they're all making pushes to get into Diamond. And as soon as they do get into Diamond, you'll start seeing, I think, more effective movement in the ladder. So you win a couple of games and go up a couple of ranks, you lose a couple of games, you go down a couple of ranks, rather than absolutely just tanking to the bottom.
I want to touch on as well. I mentioned earlier it's not easy as managed to get his free-to-play account up there. I know for a fact there's at least another 4 or 5 people who are free-to-play and they're in Diamond.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it just goes to show that people who are complaining or think that this game is is pay to win, it 100% isn't. If you can build, like, I think there was one guy, I can't remember his username now. There was one guy that built a very cheap Agrozan deck, and he managed to, as soon as he got into Diamond, he was ranked 2.
Yeah.
He's dropped out of the top 10 since then, but it just shows you can get to the very top level without spending a single penny.
I think a big thing to note as well, obviously we're going to give a shout out to Lemony Tang, who we believe is bottom of the diamonds at the minute. We don't know where he is compared to the people that aren't playing, such as Wolf, and I don't think Sokum Seal's been playing. These guys, we don't know like the comparisons.
Yeah, we don't know how losing affects your rank differently to not playing.
Sorry about the cameras, guys. Unforgiven's just died on Skype.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I won't edit them in case he comes back. But I think Procion's just said he's free to play as well, and it looks like Alcus said he's the same. So it just goes to show.
Procyon ranked 6 and he's free to play. So he's
Exactly.
6th best player in the world and he hasn't spent a penny. There you go.
That's insane. And yeah, for me, it's like. You see Glenn's eye on the stream and it's really creepy. But for me, this ladder season's been probably the best one so far. I've really enjoyed the climb, and I'm a big fan of the new system. And I think the people complaining are just complaining for the sake of complaining at this point. But I don't think there's actually anything wrong with the system. It'd be nice to have a bit more information. I think maybe that's what's causing a few of the complaints. But pat on the back to Jagex for this, because it's top notch.
I've got to say one thing. I've lost one game since I was rank 1, and that was a challenge match against Vexy, and she beat me. So Vexy is officially the best player in the game.
This is true. But yeah, well, Bundy's just said some fun decks to get out of your slump, and we're gonna have a little bit of a different order this week. We're gonna head into some deck discussion because it's quite relevant to the ladder, and you can see a lot of people have been playing this deck on the ladder, and it's Pirate RyanN, and yeah,
otherwise known as the Race to Ladies A.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll run through the deck quickly. We have 2 Ali Morisan, a bar fight, a Kaidash tournament, Ladies A, 2 Wind Strikes, 2 Archmage Sedgedoors, 2 Barktoads, 2 Pirates Hideout, 2 Wilderness, and 2 Lady Heffins. So it's actually quite an adventure-heavy deck, this one, compared to most decks you'll see these days. And in the fight cards, you've got Kale, Morwenna, Scorpion, 2 Swordsman's Deckhands, 2 White Wolves, 2 Haunted Souls, 2 Rowdy Cannoneers, Sergeant Slimetoes, and an Ogre Chieftain. Now, I think I can kind of give ideas to certain cards in this, and there's some substitutions you might want to make. But I think, in terms of how expensive the deck is, the only diamonds actually necessary, I think, is Ladies A. For your AP gankers, this deck loves to be on 3 attack, because it means you take 1 less hit off the Rowdy Cannoneers and Haunted Souls. You don't take a hit off Swordsman's Deckhand, and it's like it's actually quite vital to be on 3 attack here. So having KGPs in there instead of Kaizaj is actually an option. Morwenna's only there just to make up the numbers, and because it can be really effective in certain matchups.
Yeah, it's like free damage, that basically.
Yeah, exactly. You've got Ogre Chieftain teched in there for if you come up against an AP stacking deck. You have I don't know. You got a little bit of heal with Lady Heffin. I know some people that run this deck do not run the Lady Heffin.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a fun deck,
I like the addition of the Heffin there because it buys you some extra time if you haven't drawn that Lady's A.
Yeah, that's the way I run it, because basically
it's really good
you can get
in
to
the
the
bigger
final fight. You can get to the final fight with this deck, and it's not necessarily all over. Whereas with most pirate decks out there at the minute, if you get to the final fight, you're on about 10 HP and 2 or 3 base attack, and you're just going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So.
One question: you say 3 attack is quite important to be on for this deck.
It's not
But
necessarily important.
I was going to say, but you've only got Kizad, which
It's
is
good,
AP
but
gain.
the other thing is you've got Slime Toes and Kale in there, which allow you to take no hits off the Red Cannoneer's Haunted Souls. But they're also good to go into the Ogre Chieftain, because obviously you need a way to kill that. But yeah, there's definite changes that could be made to this deck. It's good, it works well. I climbed my last bit of plat by it, using it, and that's against the heavy Grief Linzer meta. I climbed from plat 15 and then hit promotions 5 or 6 times in there. But yeah, it's a good deck, and there's definite changes that can be made to it.
Bundy makes a good
just
point,
works.
saying, isn't this deck getting trashed by Grief Linzer?
Not at all.
No, actually, it doesn't.
It's
No,
one of the only
it's-
decks that can actually outburst the heal. It depends what they use their weapons for. If they're using their weapons for repurposes, this is probably going to struggle a little bit. If they're using the weapons and dust deviling you, it's actually something you can easily recover from with this deck. Not necessarily gain an AP again, but if you use a Kale weapon, it's like, oh yeah, I'm not taking any hits off Haunted Soul, Radicannoneer anyway. So, and
I think it's very
fight cards
favored
aren't
for
huge.
Grief Linzer.
It's
It's
you
definitely
can win
favoured.
easily. You can win easily with this deck if you get like double Pirates Hideout in the Ladies A and they don't happen to get a full Tets or something.
yeah.
It's definitely favoured. It's not that heavily favoured. I'd say it's like 60-40, 65-35. You know, you can definitely, like you say, you can definitely win it. So the list I run doesn't have Ali Morisans or Lady Heffens in. So I try not to have too much gold in mine because it's quite easy to get gold grieved.
Kind
Frank
of.
says hello.
Kind of, but at the same time, a lot of people are playing things like Kaizaj anyway, so they're just going to give you some gold, even if you don't draw like the little bit you have in your deck. But yeah, there's cards that you could definitely put in here. Ogre Warlord's a thing. You could put in Redbeard Frank. All these cards that are not necessarily, you're not necessarily going to take a lot of hits off them, but they're going to ruin the opponent's game. Yeah, in terms of Grief Linzer, I don't think there's many counters. There's AP Venescular, and that's about it. Unless you're playing AP Venescular, you're probably going to struggle against Grief Linzer.
I think the main thing that is kind of meaning Grief Linzer isn't completely dominant is it does take a lot of skill to play it right.
Yeah.
Like if you give that Grief Linzer deck to someone who's not a very good player, they'll lose every time because you need to read your opponent very early to know what you want to mulligan and how you want to spend your weapons.
Yeah.
And then if you can read your opponent early and spend your weapons in the first counter right, so like drawing lots of cards, overhealing, or whatever, then yeah, you will have a very good win rate. But it's so easy to play that deck wrong.
Yeah, and if you play it wrong against something like this pirate deck, you're basically in for a bad
then
time.
you get punished. Yeah, if you mulligan wrong, if you think that this RyanN deck is a slower build, like an Earth Blast one, rather than like quite a heavy aggro one, then you can quite easily find yourself like at less than 10 health, and it's even with all the heals in that deck. As soon as you get that low, you're within striking range for Zay.
It's almost as well worth thinking about cards like Earth Wave for this deck, because then repurposes it's like, well, that didn't actually do anything for you because I can just
or
bypass all
Fire
that.
Surge.
Fire Surge is
Surge
another
would be
thing you could take into this deck.
I think Fire Surge is just a bad card. If you want to counter armor, even fucking Green Dragon is better than that. Fire Surge, even when they have played repurpose, it only deals 5 damage. That's so little for a 3 gold. The card needs such a specific circumstance to be worth it, which is like 10 soft armor.
Yeah, like it's only really good against a Raptor that's already used Court Beast.
Yeah.
Then it's ridiculous, but apart from that,
A
it's a dead
Raptor
card
is
on
not very popular right now because Ogre Warlord in all other AP building
it.
decks.
Yes.
I think in the last, well, in fact, since the rework from Platinum above, I think I've only actually played 2 people playing Raptor, and one of them was Interjection drunk last night, deciding to see if Raptor was still good.
I mean, I recorded my stats from the bottom to the top, and I actually found quite a few people playing Raptor. Now, my win rate against the decks was actually ridiculously high, but like people are still playing it, and it makes you wonder: is it actually working for them, or do they just mindlessly keep playing it and expect a different result. Yeah, I think that kind of sums up this deck. There's definite changes that can be made, and you can put your own spin on the Pirate RyanN deck
It's
quite
a
easily.
very versatile deck.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a lot of cards you can change out for other ones. You just do whatever
You can even
works for you.
combine with the Earth Blast team, the one attack team, even potentially with a Spellbook team if you're really tried. Like, you can take this deck to very many different directions if you feel like it.
Yeah, and that's why it's probably played so much. But moving on, we're going to be talking about some competitive play, and we're going to start with the RS Chronicle League Open Division. And we've had a bit of a slower start compared to last season, but nonetheless, we're still going, we're still kicking on. There's a few people that have played upwards of 3 or 4 games already, and we've got some results.
We've had a few new people sign up this last couple of days as well, so.
Yeah, and I know they've had a few games played. And it honestly hasn't come as much surprise to me that Ash Percy's up there. Him and Lemony Tang, Bloodburn, Ty Flicky, these guys are all much more than capable of holding their own up there. So it doesn't surprise me that they're up there. You've also got the name Alcabus, that a lot of people will probably know. And then in 6th and 7th are Tidy and Aeri, who are new players this season. So fair play, they've won a good game at least, and we're hoping for a lot of people to kick on with their games coming up now, because the people who are going to do their ladder assault have kind of done it, or are still very close to finishing, like in getting into Diamond. And I know a lot of people are moving on with league games now. So
yeah, I think that now a lot of people have reached Diamond. They're going to find they've got a lot more time to play league games, and it'd be more interesting to play some league games. Something a little bit different from the ladder, which is always what we intended it for it to be.
This is actually the best time to do your games as well, if you think about it, because close to the end of the ladder season, people are going to be aiming for the top 10. Because as far as we know, that might matter, which I'm sure is something we'll go into later on.
Yeah,
but
definitely right.
Because of that, I think now is honestly just the time to do it, because you don't want to be trying to ladder up and trying to finish all your games off at the same time.
No, start getting stressful at the end of the month.
Exactly that. But I think that's going to sum up the Open Division. There's a few people not on the screenshot that have actually played games, but unfortunately they've lost all their games and they're at the bottom of the division. So, Moving up, we have the Premier B, which hasn't had any games played, so there's not a whole lot to say about this. I know I've been contacted a couple of these people in this league. I'm yet to hear back off one of them, and he's in the chat at the minute, so get on it, Suki. But yeah, I know Wolves away at the minute. I don't think YX is around, so that's probably why and Sokum as well. So that's why we're not seeing many games being played. And I know Jag's been ill, so the division's kind of been the division of death in a different way. But moving up, we have the Premier A, which has been being led by Ryan. It's not easy, and being propped up by Musher.
You're the strongest player in the league because you're holding the rest up.
That's definitely the way it works.
I'm looking forward to Open Division next season. Let's just put it that way.
We've got to point out, so it's on record again, that Snowy, when this league was drawn, said that if he didn't finish in the top 2, he would do 10 challenges for that suggested by the community.
It's not started. Yeah, 10.
He said 10.
Okay, right.
It's not started well for him at all.
So everyone get thinking of some challenges.
Snowy Noob, as he's being named, or Salty Wolf is the other one. But yeah, he's obviously. I think he lost to Ryan and.
He's played one.
Yeah, he lost to Ryan. Musher lost to Ryan, and Tank drew with Ryan, and Tank also beat Musher. So that kind of sums up the results there. But we're going to be getting on to people and getting people like Arctic Monkey, Bundy, Gloomy Q, and Zero Fine to get them playing their games.
Skizik in the chat, how can you join this league? If you send myself or Ryan a message on Discord saying that you want to join, we'll send you a link and we'll
sort it all out after the podcast, basically. If you PM us now, we'll sort you out. But anyone else who wants to join, just let me know on Discord and we can sort that. We move into the Elite Division, which has had one game played in it.
Ogchan!
Yeah!
And we see Glenn at the top and Unforgiven at the bottom. So
I have to say though, that should have been a draw.
Yeah, let's just say I may have missed lethal in game 1. That's unlucky.
Yeah, like it was end of chapter 2. I'd been holding on to. He was using a Goldzan. I'd been holding on to Papa Frank since the start, and he was already up to 80 gold, or something like that.
40, I think it was.
I was on 40.
Oh, you're on 40, sorry.
Yeah.
And I was on Neon 4 base attack, so I was going to take 8 damage to tank Frank at the start of chapter 3, and I had to do it.
But
And if
Unforgiven
he'd
was
have linged
first.
me-
He was first, so.
Yeah, if Unforgiven had linged me that slot, I would have died to Frank.
And
But
I had
he
double link, so
Yeah.
if I did them double link, that would have been 30 damage either way if you didn't have Frank. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a play
In the
I
end,
missed.
You played Party Hat, didn't you? And
I
then
did
Papa
party
Frank
hat
you.
link, and I lost.
Yeah.
I guess the other players, like what you do, Ling Party Hat Ling is probably the best way to get damage out with it.
Probably.
Potentially, yeah. But basically, just got a bit unlucky.
Basically, I didn't realize that he takes so much damage from Frank, and I played too fast without thinking my plays, and now I'm at the bottom of the league.
To be fair, all the games last night were ridiculous.
Yeah.
They were so close.
But yeah, there's
Right.
definitely winnable games in this league. There's so many strong players up there. And hopefully we can get a few people getting their game on. I know Interjection just finished uni today, so well done to him.
Yeah.
But
So
get on with your
everyone
games.
trying to arrange games with Interjection tomorrow because he's going to be hungover.
Okay, I'm gonna try them.
And I'll do it at 3 in the morning tonight while he's still drunk.
While he's drunk.
Yeah.
No, he'll play better when he's drunk. Remember the Raptor deck?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, to be
sure.
fair, he does actually play quite well when he's drunk. I'm not sure how. I couldn't barely see the screen. So.
The other thing is, don't expect to be playing Freaker anytime soon because we know he doesn't play any games for the first 3 weeks. So he'll be getting all his games in the last day, probably, as always. But that sums up the Chronicle League. As we said, if you want to get involved, PM us on Discord and we can sort that out. And we want some more progression to be made, then I'm trying my best, but people just let me down at the minute. But yeah, get on with your games, guys. And we're going to move on to the Community Cup, where we have the last 8. Oh my god. And
This is going to be fun.
it's quite a packed 8, to be honest with you.
Yeah, considering the names that aren't there, that's still a very, very strong last 8.
I mean, Unforgiven, you've got Goth Girl. Glenn, you're against Bundy. We've got the winner of Crazy Helm and Freeb will play the winner of Vitus and Snowwolf. Like, these are all top players, and at this point, it's anyone's to win.
I think everyone in that is in the top 2 tiers of the league, apart from Crazy Hell.
Crazy, yeah, because obviously he's not in the league system.
Yeah.
And most are in diamond players except maybe Bundy.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, you're right, actually.
Is Snowy in Diamond?
Yes, Snowy's
Yeah,
in
Snow's
Diamond.
in
I think.
Diamond.
So
He was one of the
everyone
first
except
people.
Bundy is in diamond in the ranked right now too. So really good players.
But I think now with the Community Cup, it's moving into the business end where it's actually best of 5s, and the game's
Yes.
going to be a lot more telling.
I've literally just got a message from Zouts saying that they've got to be played by the 13th of this month,
Yeah,
and
10
they'll
days.
be recorded. Yeah, they'll be recorded and streamed and commentated on. I think on the 13th.
Yeah, and
So-
you actually need to submit deck lists, if I remember.
Yes, we've got to submit deck lists.
Oh damn!
But
I
yeah,
don't
like
have any decks.
if
No,
we
neither
can,
do I.
I think we need to go through each tie and call the winners. So we're going to start with Unforgiven against Goth. I'm sorry, Goth. I know you're a great player, but I'm going to have to back my boy Unforgiven. I think he's going to take it.
Yeah, I'm
Same.
with you again. Yeah,
I'll be the
sorry,
devil's
Garth.
advocate. No, sorry, Unforgiven. I've got the Goth one on this one.
Well, moving on, Bundy against Glenn. As much as I'd love Bundy to win, I think Glenn's probably just a little
Bundy's
bit
gonna
better.
get this. I'm rooting for Bundy because I think he will be an easier opponent.
No,
What about-
sorry, Bundy. Again, I think Glenn will win that one.
I'm gonna back you, Bundy.
Crazy Helm
So
against
it's like
Freeb
win-win
is.
for you, right?
Crazy Helm against Freeb
Now,
is going
this
to be a
is
good game.
difficult because I've not seen Crazy Helm play. Like, I've not come up against him. He doesn't play the league.
He's just hit Diamond today, so.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
mean,
go with Freeb.
I think
He's
Freeb's
always
track
stepped
record
up
speaks for it.
Yeah, 3 is obviously really strong, but Grayson has always stepped up for things like this somehow. I have no idea how, but he seems to do it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually
You
think
can definitely-
Crazy Helm will win. Yeah, like you say, you know, he does always step his game up for tournaments.
Yep.
And also because he doesn't play as much as Freeb, I'm sure Freeb has less information on what he's going to play than Crazy Helm does the other way around.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
true. I mean, if you ask anyone what Crazy Helm plays, I think the only person that could tell you would be Solo, because he keeps queuing into Crazy Helm. And
Yeah, I know what 2 of his lists actually, and that's it.
But like he could
He
literally
can
pull
only
out
play one of
anything. I know he has like 8 or 9 decks that he can play. So it's just a matter of which ones he does pull out. But I don't know who's going to win that. But one I think I know is Vitus Snowwolf, and I think I'm going to back Snowy Wolf here.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I played Vitus in the relegation playoff at the end of the first season, and I know how close that was, so I'm backing Vitus here.
Oh, okay. Unforgiven?
He's really hard to call, but I'm probably gonna go with Snowy Wolf, but a really close matchup, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely true. But I don't know. Like Snowy's a really good player. If he can stop himself going on tilt, like if he loses the first game, I imagine it's gonna just snowball, and Vitus will probably take it. Snowball, do you get it?
Oh wow!
But if he wins the first game and can keep himself rooted to earth, then I think Snowy's got a very good chance of taking this.
Yeah. Who won between them in the League Series last season,
I
actually?
believe it was Vitus? No, they were in different leagues, weren't they?
No, they were in the same one, because there was Vitus, Tank, and
Hang
Snowy
on,
at the
I've got a
top.
link to season 1.
There you go.
And then, because it was between those 3 until Freak actually decided to start playing games.
I'm on there. Hang on.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure Vitus won. Oh no, Snowy beat Vitus, because Vitus beat
Yeah.
everyone else apart from Freaker, obviously, who was at the end. Yeah.
Snowy beat Vitus 3-1.
Mhm. Be a good game.
The only game he lost, he was Venescula against Vitus's Raptor, and then he won with Raptor, RyanN, and Venescula.
It's going to be a close game either way, because there's obviously been changes since then.
Yeah.
To some cards. But yeah, that kind of sums up the CCC. For one word of who we can see winning it is the only word I want next. Glenn. Who do you think is going to win it?
Oh, I thought you were calling me then.
No. Are you okay?
Then are you okay?
Are you okay, Glenny?
I'm gonna back myself. I want to do it.
Wow.
Well.
Arrogant smorg.
Unforgiven, who are you backing?
Myself.
Perfect. And Musher, who do you think? Because we're the impartial parties here.
Okay, so I realised I just said I thought Goth Gold was going to beat Unforgiven, but I'm now going to say I think Unforgiven will win it if he wins that. So if he wins that quarter-final, I think he wins
That
it.
logic is actually on point. I think you're going to lose, but you'll win the whole thing. Like, makes sense. I think I'm going to go with... I'm going to go for Snowy. I think he can do it. Honestly. Because Unforgiven and Glenn are going to take each other out. Like, one's going to lose the other one. And then Snowy's probably going to smash the winner in the final. That's what I'm backing anyway. But yeah, that kind of sums up the CCC. As Glenn said, you've got another 10 days to play your match. And we're going to move into the best part of the show, for me at least. It's going to be Dungeoneering. And
Oh, champ.
bye, Glenn.
Bye, Glenn.
This week we have the choice between the Raptor and Ozan. What do you guys
Have
think?
you done the Nozan scream?
I think I've done one of each now at least, so...
Both are kind of my personal favorites, but Raptor is definitely my second favorite still.
Well,
So
I
I'd go
mean,
with that.
we can go with Raptor, I guess, this week. I like drafting Ozan, but I think that's mainly because he's fun.
I like both of them.
Rather than him being actually good, I think Ozan's quite fun. Glenn, now you're
I'm
back.
just
I
going
agree.
to
Yep.
apologise now because
Okay,
my
right.
delay is quite big, so I'm probably not going to be able to see the choices.
Well, I'll read them out, by the way, at the start of each round. But we are going to go with Raptor because I think it's probably the safer pick here. Before I go into the amazing choices we got for the first cards, I want to go into last week where everyone doubted me and I went 10-3 with that deck. The Linzer we drafted that we tried to make Grief Linzer that we said actually we probably didn't have enough to actually make an effective Grief Linzer. We did. And the games I was going in, I managed to get Dust Devil nearly every time, and Gold Grief was there. I smashed them in the face for a few more damage, and somehow it was a good deck. One of the games I lost, I didn't draw my Tetsu Katana, and if I had, I'd have won. But as it was, I lost with 1 HP. So.
Wow. That has never happened before. Tetsu Katana wins games.
Tetsu Katana is such a bad card, guys. Don't ever play it. But yeah, round 1, we have Tok Chill, Keris, Chainshot Cannon, Chaos Druid, and Varrock Guard.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Is all I'm gonna
Carry
say.
Spock champ. No, but Toxil and Varrock Card are not too bad in my opinion. That would be my pick here.
I think Toxil allows you to ramp into enough stuff, so that's why you probably take it.
It's
And the
pretty
fact
decent, and
Keris, Chainshot Cannon, and Chaos Druid are pants cards. Like, really.
yeah, they are actually pretty useless. Varrock Card at least gives a gold, and maybe they have stacked like 1 million gold. That happens sometimes.
I think I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
I
have
mean,
to
you can
back
often get 5 armor off it, right? Because quite often people will have 10ish gold. So.
And even if you don't, at least it gives you a gold.
I
It
don't
doesn't
think
give
there's-
you a tricky potion like Chaos Druid.
There's no real discussion there. So we move into round 2. Dondakon's Cannon, Void Brawler, Sticky Sanders, Stamina Potion, and Barbarian Warrior. Now we actually moved from a really crap pick to... I would actually consider taking at least 4 of these cards. The only one I
Okay,
wouldn't
so-
is Sticky Sanders, but... Yeah.
According to the tier list, Stamina Potion is the obvious one here. And then it would be between Void Brawler and Barbarian Warrior.
As you just mentioned, there is the tier list
I-
coming out tomorrow. We need to pimp that for Dungeoneering. Unforgiven's got it up, and he's going to be helping us out with where the positions
I'm
and
gonna
some of the
load
cards
it
are.
up.
And yeah, Stamina Potion I think is definitely the one to take here.
It's so good in a Raptor. It gives health and AP for a very reasonable price, and both stats are so premium for a Raptor.
I'd probably take the Void Brawler with it, to be honest.
I like early Void Brawler because it enables spend armor cards later, which can be quite good.
Like Assault.
Yeah, like Void Brawler Destroy early on is so good.
Void Brawler, Destroy into some sort of heal like
Ixagur.
Cabbage.
Ixagur.
Cabbage. No, you go Cabbage Court Beast. Are you okay, Glenn? But yeah, Void Brawler and Barbarian Warrior are the only 2 I actually consider here.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
Void
like the
Brawler
Void Brawler. Both are very good choices in the end.
Yeah, I think go Void, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Round 3 we have Amulet of Fury, Crassian Warrior, Goblin Trickster, Full Tetsu, and Wizard Triborn. Now I'm fairly
There's
sure
3 of them you want.
if you look at the tier list, is Amulet of Fury and Full Tetsu, they should be both right at the top.
Yeah, they're both right at the top. They are the 2 best emeralds for Raptor, according to us, and
Yeah,
I
I
agree with that. They're actually insane.
I don't think there's any discussion needed because obviously Crassian's a great card. It provides a lot
There's
of...
a lot of good cards here,
A lot of
but
draw.
those 2 are just game
They're just
winning. Those are your
ridiculous.
win conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we just take both of them. Round 4, oh my god. Calphite Egg Chamber. I wish I took Keris now. Calphite Egg Chamber, Dragon Longsword, Ice Ninith, Armored Zombie, and Undead Cow.
Probably Dragon Longsword Ice Knight Hill. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
D-Long.
Zombie's good.
Well,
but-
the thing
D-Long
we've
is
got,
incredible.
We're spending a lot of gold already.
yeah, but you don't have a weapon yet.
It's
Yeah,
true.
D-Long is so good, and like I tend to assume I get a lot of gold near the end. So
Yeah, you
I
always
would
do.
go D-Long, Ice Nihil in a heartbeat. They're just
Yeah, they're
so
both
good
so
cards.
good.
Armored Zombie is pretty decent, but those 2 are just like premium cards.
I'd say Armored Zombie is a lot closer to average than the other 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think D-Long and Ice Ninith. Because you can go like
Yes.
top chill into Ice Ninith at the end of the day. Top chill's a
Yeah,
good card.
Hell, you are very likely to get 5 AP, and we already have one.
We have
Fury.
3 gain, yeah, like already. So yeah, we got Ice Ninith and D-Long. Round 5. We have some more emeralds in the shape of Customs Officer, Ogre Chieftain, Unstable Concoction, Rants, and Crazed Whaler. And I think I like Customs Officer purely because of the amount of gold we could be spending here.
Yes, it's very good, and like we said, we already have a lot of gold spent. Now there are other pretty good cards here as well.
I really like Rants, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Rant isn't
Ogre Chieftain
terrible.
is okay as well. I'd still, just looking at the power levels of the cards, I would go with Customs Officer and Durance, with Ogre Chieftain being an honorable mention. It would be a big creature that's worth killing, but we are not really panicking to get some yet either. So
No, that's true.
It's
I
in
think
good
Craze Whaler's too big for us to really consider killing him. And his effect is very hit and miss. At the end of the day, I don't think 2 gold's going to be huge in Dungeoneering. 2 weapon durability, you have to kind of predict it properly.
It's the worst card, but
so that's
it's
probably
not the best card.
that and unstable, definitely out of the mix here. I do like Ogre Chieftain. I don't know. Is it just me? Because
I agree, it is a good card. Especially if you're going second against like a Linzer for the final fight. Because let's be honest, most of the time they equip a Tetsu Katana.
yeah, you get a Tetsu Katana most of the time.
And even still, I'd pick, this early in the draft, I'd pick the 2 best cards, which in my opinion are Customs Officer and Durance.
Glenn?
Yeah, I'd agree
With you
with
there.
that.
Okay. Perfect. Round 6. We have Goblin Brute, War Tortoise, Revenant Dark Beast, Anticipation, and General Wartface. Oh,
Okay, Anticipation is the easy one. It's a good heal. Heals are really good in a Raptor, and I really like it a lot. It's very nice.
What about the synergy between General Wartface and Goblin Brute? Yeah, Anticipation's pretty much the guaranteed heal, like a really good heal.
It's just slightly better cabbage most of the time, and cabbage is already pretty good
At
according
least
to us,
cabbage.
and I do think it is.
It's at
yeah.
least cabbage,
Well,
that's the thing. Because they're not.
He might take themselves out to 1 AP, yeah, but then you're already in a good spot.
Yeah, I was gonna
with that
say,
as
then
well.
you basically
You're winning
win.
the game if to do that, unless unless they have something crazy.
And the other pick for me would be Goblin Brute, just guaranteed some stats. I don't respect War Toys very much. You spend armor and drawing 4 is usually too much in 1 slot for
I know
Okay.
with Dungeoneering, you usually end up with not necessarily a hand that you want to play all the cards at once. So you obviously stockpile them a bit, and drawing 4 cards could literally just stop you playing.
That might happen more with Raptor than some other classes, but Anticipation Goblin Brute would be a fairly fast pick for me here.
Yeah, I think Goblin Bruce is the right one. Shout out to the game because we have actually lost 2 of our cards, but you know. Oh no. If you can see Rants on the list, then more power to you, but he's disappeared.
Bye, Rants.
Bye.
Ryan, you've bugged the game.
Yeah, we are.
Round 6, we have Anti-Fire Potion, Saucy Wrench Deckhand, Solomon Medini, Tuzharket, and King Black Dragon.
KBD Bogchen. No.
KBD.
Leaves aside,
We've
Solomon
got
is
Anti-Fire Potion KBD, are you kidding me, guys? Come on.
Please
No.
no, Ryan.
Solomon and...
No, just no.
I don't know, do we take Saucy Wrench?
Which one's Tuzharket? Is that
Let's
the...
consult the tier list
If
here.
you have the most armor, remove all their armor and deal 6 damage, but it's a 5/10. Like,
Okay, no, I was thinking it was the other one. You know, the one that you gain 2 base if you spend 2 armor.
Tokharket,
Yeah, that's
I
the one.
believe that one.
Okay, so tier list would say Solomon, Saucy Wentz, and I would probably agree. I don't respect the Sarket. Anti-Fire is actually trash, and KPD. We do need a lot of gold. We have one way of killing it so far, but even then,
You need gold to kill it.
I wouldn't really.
It just makes
I
more
wouldn't want
sense.
to
Makes more sense.
Saucy
to
Wentz.
Saucy Wench.
That one gold does something sometimes. Maybe we pick up a Lady's A, who knows?
Maybe pick up some Barfatoads because there's not many great rubies for Raptor. Talking of rubies,
It might happen.
we have Tenebra, Krill Saroth, Burnt Meat, Reflect, and Yuklagor. I like taking Dad here. In case anyone's wondering, interjection calls Yuklagor Dad for the noise he
And
makes when
it's-
he's slaughtering him. But yeah.
Yiklagor is really, really good.
Yeah.
And the other cards are much less so.
Actually, I know the tier list. I'm pretty sure it says check Tenebra here.
Yuklagor is great. Tenebra, the only problem I
Actually, it
have...
says pick burnt meat.
I was going to
Oh,
say,
does
the only
it?
problem with
Tenebra's
Tenebra,
one tier below it.
it's a
Um,
bit big.
I wouldn't
I would
take
uh,
be
burnt
slight.
meat.
No,
I
don't know.
hate, personally, I hate burnt meat. It's probably a better card most of the time than Tenebra, but It's close for me personally, but a lot of people would say pick the burnt meat, and I respect that opinion. That's why it's higher up on the list as
I
well.
respect it, but I don't know if I like it.
I hate drawing 4 cards. It's basically my personal opinion, but Raptor I does very often actually play the full chapter, and then drawing 4 can be exactly what you need. Now we're already actually paying a lot of gold here on a lot of expensive stuff that's very good, and we might not want to spend our very little of our gold on a burnt meat in case of this deck.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yes.
Um,
So I would make a case for Tenebra Uklagor here, but Uklagor burnt meat is also fine.
the other thing that Goth has pointed out is the Krill Yuklagor synergy with Kill Your Next Demon.
But Uklagor is almost easier to kill than Krill, at least
Well,
as...
we have Tok Chill, so all you need is 1 base attack increase, and you can Tok Chill into Krill, you can D-Long, you can Solomon Medini. There's so many different ways we've got going into it that it's actually quite feasible, I think.
You take more Solomon Medanian into Krill than you do Uklagor.
I wouldn't
You take,
pick
you
it,
take
but
12.
No, I'm on about, like, chances are you're going to have built your base attack up quite quickly. In the first chapter, you might try and rush out an Amulet of Fury, which is not uncommon to say the least. So then, I don't know. I don't like Tenebra. That's the problem.
it's not very good.
It seems a bit
It's not a
big,
card I've ever
and
drafted.
it seems a bit big, but also
It's a thing where you kill it with something like D-Long in case of our deck.
You'd rather go
You
into something
two-shot
else.
it, you basically gain 1 life and deal 8 in that case, and you still have 1 durability. The only other thing for us to kill right now is the Uklagor, and I'd want to believe that we can pick more ways to kill stuff as well as the draft goes on. I would hope that at least.
Mm-hmm.
Solomon kind of works as well.
Yeah, Glenn, thoughts?
This pick isn't very good.
I think we take Uklagor regardless.
Uklagor 100%.
Yeah, I've took him now. He's
And
gone.
That's not even close.
If it was up to me, honestly, I don't know.
I think
I'd
I want to
probably
take
edge towards
Krill.
Krill.
I want to take Krill.
I'd probably edge to Krill. Yeah.
Okay.
So what other demons can we get later on in the draft?
Or
another
and maybe
Uklagor?
Tormented Demon.
Tormented Demon's a
I
good one.
guess you can potentially get Torkash, but you're probably not going to want to take it.
Well, it depends
And
what
maybe
shit
you
it
could
throws
get a
us.
Greater Demon, but none of those are cards you really want to take. The good ones are Uklagor and Tormented Demon, really.
Yeah.
But the chances are, we're going to get probably at least one more good one. We're less
I
than
vote
halfway
to some
through the draft.
Tenebra.
Okay, Musher, you have the casting vote, basically. Because if it's a draw, we're fucked.
To stop it being a draw, I'll say Krill.
Sorry, Unforgiven.
Real Grill.
Real grill. Round 8, we have Fight Pit, Drunken Pirate, Mimic, and Grotworm. And we've already taken an Ali Moritan. So
Drunken Pirate with it.
Yeah.
I don't
You
mind
could
Drunken
make
Pirate.
an argument for Mimic. Taking that much damage is not feasible in a Raptor, in my opinion, at all. Because health is the resource that's most really valuable for Raptor. Like, most of the time you're able to gain a ton of AP, but you might be unable to have enough life to survive until or in the final fight even. And I don't like Mimic at all because of that, and Drunken Pirate is a very reasonable card in my opinion.
I mean, we do have Full Tetsu and Stamina Potion, both of which heal for 7 health at least. And Anticipation's also a decent heal, but I think I agree that Drunken Pirate's the better pick here.
Really got to start looking for gold here though as well.
Well, we're only 8 rounds in. We've got a lot more picks to come yet. So,
I believe we can get gold.
Yeah.
I believe. And Dragon Pirate is 1 gold, focus on.
Yeah.
It's
And
an
it
easy
doesn't kill
thing
you.
to slap down early on, which is the other thing.
Pick
Yeah.
the
Okay.
growth form or the fight pit for gold.
Round 9, we have another Yuklagor, Barkatoad, the Adventurous, Burnt Meat, and Fern. And for me, considering we got Sorcerer's deck hand, this is such an easy pick.
Uklagor is
yes, we have.
very good, but still.
Uklagor and Barkatoad, I would.
especially more so than we picked the Krill.
Well, I don't want to add 3 random trash pirates to my hand, and I don't want to draw 4 cards, and Fern's crap, so I think it's quite easy to take Euclid or Biptoda.
Yeah.
I want to see how we're rating the Barker Toad, just for the sake of a reference here. Okay, we are actually rating it pretty badly for Raptor, but we do have cannonballs already, which is an obvious sinners that you should pick up on, and the other options are not attractive at all to me.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm with you on the Barker Toad, even though it's against the tier list.
We have diamonds, and if you wanted gold, we got some. Round 10, BKT, Black Knight Iron, Party Hat, Yelps, Certification, and Full Darek.
Ooh, none of these stand out as
are so good.
I like
not take
Yelps.
double mortal synergy here.
Full Tarek is actually the
Do we
best
want to
card.
take ourselves low?
Well, the thing is, we're gonna go low, whether we want to or not, and then we play certificate and we're not low anymore. Basically,
This is true.
that's how
I
it
would
was
go
thinking-
Yelps Derek.
We could
I
do
would
something.
go
Oh,
Tarek Tiffy, except I would definitely pause and look at our gold total.
I was gonna say we need. I think we need Yelps. I think we need
You can
Yelps.
definitely make a case for it. Like, if we look at our drafts, there's tons of really good expensive supports, and we currently have very little gold gain. And Full Taggart will only add up to that. That's a really good card, and that I wouldn't pass up.
The way I see it,
I do like a lot, but yeah, the gold case is really... And Yelps is still really good.
yeah, I was gonna say the way I see it is Yelps allows us to buy Full Tetsu, which, to be honest, is better than Certificate. Rather than it can allow us to ramp into even Amulet of Fury. So
as well, so it's basically make your call, and with context of this deck, Yelps is probably the better pick. I like Certificate.
Yeah, I think you are right there. I actually didn't look at the amount of gold we had before I suggested.
Just look at the supports we have. Like, all those are so good. We want to be able to afford them.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like some decks that you draft where you're like, alright, whichever supports I draw, I will play, and I'm happy to play either. This is, we want to play all of them, so we need the
they're
gold.
So good.
But yeah, obviously BKT is a great card, but I just don't think it's good enough in Dungeoneering because, let's be honest, some people might not draft any weapons, some people might draft and play them in random places, so it's a lot harder to predict with BKT. But Yelps and Darek is so much better. Like, it just makes sense to take them. But round 11, we are heading in. We have Calphite Emissary, Mimic, Goblin Brute, Rock Golem, and an alley that's already gone.
Yeah, that's obviously the correct pick here.
So it's between Calphite Emissary, I believe, and what was the third one you said? Sorry.
Goblin Brute.
Goblin Brute.
Yeah, I think it's between them two.
I don't mind Mimic, now we've got Yelps.
There's the thing where 1 or 2 weapon removal is very good for the deck. I think even more, well, some people say more so, some people say less so for Raptor, because you want to play it the last slot and make sure they don't have the Tetsu Katana or whatnot going into the final fight. I just hate Mimic so much. I don't want to make a case for it. I wouldn't pick it.
I don't mind it, but I understand.
Goblin Brute is not bad, but I think Calphite Emissary is better. The effect is not exactly exciting. They both also have 1 gold, which is something I would like to point out.
Okay, Glenn?
I'm actually edging towards Mimic here, because we do have a fair bit of heal and armor in the deck, and it also helps us get down. It also helps us get close. If we're close, we can get to Mortal for the Darek.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I see why you'd want weapon removal in the shape of Calphite Emissary.
Yeah, that's the only other reason. Like,
are we going to get, in the last 4 rounds, more gold gain? That's what it basically boils down to in my head.
I'm going to say yes.
I think you're right.
Let's go with Unforgiven. Just say
it's
yes,
not like...
we're going to get gold gain.
We counted you out for the other choice with Krill, so Calphite Emissary is probably a good pick here.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly copy and paste a question we got in the chat into the Skype call, just so we remember it.
Perfect. Round 12. Yoga Shaman, Brooks and Burton, Giant Rat, Full Tetsu, and Crazed Whaler. Ugh. Now, I like Brooks and Burson most of the time. In this deck where we're already spending 50 million and 4 gold, I don't think it's a clever thing to take.
And I want to say most of the time I actually don't like it, but sometimes I do.
I mean, when it hits,
very
it
hit
can
and
be
miss.
absolutely devastating. If they're trying to play something stupid, like Frenzy or something like that, and they can't afford it, and then they go into this massive creature with no hope of killing it, they can kill themselves.
Okay, don't hate me for it is. I'm looking at the gold game, but I still would instantly pick the full text.
Yeah, so
it's
would I.
just too
Yeah,
good.
so would
So would
I.
I.
We're so late with so little gold, but I can't pass that card
Well,
ever.
the thing is, like, only
and
Crazed
it's not
Wader
like-
gives gold here, so I'm not
Yeah.
taking that because it's
So-
so crap.
That's where
I
the
think you want the second one for consistency anyway. You know, because it increases your chances of drawing one throughout the game.
This is true.
question is, do we want a second weapon removal or another big thing to kill in the form of the Yogurt Shaman?
I
go
think
with
I like
Giant
Giant Rat here. We already have double Yuklagor, we have a Krill that are going to be the 3 main targets to take out.
they're the same tier for the tier list, and I think it's fair to say it's make the call based on your deck. We have few big things to kill. We don't have actually that many things to reach to them, so maybe we don't need the extra big thing. And more
It doesn't
weapon
drop
removal
gold
is
now,
always
so
nice.
if it dropped gold, I'd probably take it. But considering it doesn't drop gold anymore, Giant Rat's probably the better card for when you go second, just to remove
Second
two
weapon
weapon durability.
removal
It's
is
huge.
nice because then you don't feel bad about randomly slamming down the first one because
Exactly.
you know you have one for the final fight still.
Yeah, I think Giant Rat full Tetsu.
Yes.
Moving on, round 13. We have gold game boys. Penguin Sheep, Meg, Troll General, Animated Armor, and Customs Officer. Now, jokes aside, Penguin Sheep's actually awful.
Yes.
I don't mind Meg here, but we don't have any ships that really
I
synergize
would
well
go
with it.
Animated armor.
I
Customs
like
Officer.
Animated Armor a lot, Customs Officer
Yeah.
a lot. Troll
Yes,
General.
those are two very
Troll
high
General is
cards
just so
compared to the
bad.
others.
I think that's a pretty easy pick, to be honest.
Animated customs, the others are just not on their tier. Meg has gold, but so do the good cards, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Round 14. Oh, okay. Fight Cauldron, Mischievous Imp, Calfight Soldier, and Mimic. Another Alimos hand's got in the
Soldier.
deck, so.
Calfight Soldier is very good.
Calfight Soldier's very good. But then you're saying take 4 damage for 3 gold and 2 armor, or take
Yeah, but you
5
basically
damage for
take
4
two,
gold.
or if you're 3 base, you take no damage.
Yeah. I
So-
think I prefer Calfight Soldier here.
Calfight Soldier is so much better card in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The next best card here actually to me is the Fight Cauldron, but in the context of this deck where we don't have that many heals or ways to spend armor, it's not that exciting actually.
But guys,
I mean,
oh, carry on.
sorry, what I was going to say is the one argument for Fight Cauldron over Calfight Soldiers, it's a lot harder to grief. You know, because you're getting 1 gold less.
But the only
You know,
thing
but-
that I'm actually scared about with Calfight Soldier is Archmage Sedgelador, and
Or what do we call it?
Frankenstrain, yeah.
but
Yeah,
That's
you
what I was
can-
thinking of personally.
I always usually put like a barrier in front of something that I'm going to take a hit off that I can one hit.
There's the same here for us, and they're both very good. I just
I think I
don't
prefer
want to
Calfight
kill
Soldier.
myself with Fight Cauldron when the armor doesn't actually give us that much value in
The
this
other thing I
deck.
wanted to point out, as I've hovered on the screen, is Krill Tutsaroth into Mischievous Imp. Come on, guys. You are missing such a good
It's not
combo.
as good. It's not as good as the Silver Light into Imp, though. That's how it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, I think we go Calfight Soldier. It would have been good to take Keris, I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
We have
so
Calfight
many
Emissary,
regrets.
we have Calfight Soldier, like, Keris was definitely the pick.
Yeah. Damn, we missed the gem here. I told you guys, it's good.
Round 15 and the diamonds, we have Death, what a good card, Barricade, Full Derek, Kale, and Redbeard Frank. And there's 3 cards I'd like to take here, but yeah.
I would go Barricade and Kale.
Yeah, I would as well.
I think
Barricade would be an easy pick for me. Then it would come down between Kale and Full Tarek,
Yeah.
and I would look at what am I killing with Kale. And in case of this deck, a lot of stuff. Uglagors, Krills, even animated armors.
Yep.
That's already. We already have one
Ninith,
arrow.
Customs Officer, like all the Kale stops you taking damage from all these things.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Seat in the chat. just right now.
Yeah,
I would
Death and
definitely go
Redbeard
Death and
Frank.
Redbeard Frank.
Yeah, make sure you play it Redbeard Frank first though, and then Death.
Yes.
Just to remove all your gold and then not remove half their health.
This is coming from the guy who is in the quarterfinals of the Community Cup. How did we let this happen?
Yeah, Kale or Derek, like, sure
I
we
would
take.
take Kale over second Tarux.
If we take
Yeah,
Derek,
I-
you're more likely to draw it, but at the same time, if you draw two, like if you
Also,
draw them at
he's
different
healed
stages in the game, you're gonna have healed off. Like you use the first one and heal up, and you're like, shit, I need to take more damage again to use the other Derek. So I think it makes
The other
sense
thing
to
is-
take Kale.
We
Still
don't
don't have
have too
act-
many heals, so you
Yeah.
don't want to go too low if you can help it.
Yeah, and we don't have too much gold still either, actually, so spending more, even though it would be for a good card, might not be something we want to do necessarily.
Yeah, I think Kale's
So-
right choice here.
Kale is pretty good.
And it's still broken as hell. So, you can see the deck here. Apparently we've got 31 cards. I don't know how the fuck that's happened. Considering it's
We
took...
get our rants
Rage
back.
at this.
No, the Rants has still disappeared, but we're on 30...
No.
We've lost a card, yet we've got one extra.
Let's not even ask how.
I want to know what extra card it's given me.
Yeah,
Remember
I'm
that...
just trying to have a quick glance now, but
Can't see anything.
yeah, I am one like on my screen. You're still picking the diamonds, so I can't quite see what
I
it is.
think what it's done, it's given me another round. So I think we had
Yeah.
2 round 5s. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I can't really remember that well, but yeah. So obviously this would help along with the tier list, and if I'm not wrong, Insurrection's releasing that tomorrow night. He did say last weekend.
Is the plan.
Yesterday you said tomorrow, so just do
Today
it.
he said tomorrow.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully that's coming out. That will obviously be posted everywhere. The forums, the
It will
Reddit.
probably be very hard to miss, as long as you follow anything Chronicle related.
But yeah, basically look out for that because that's going to help a lot. It helped us make a few tough choices in this list, and
There were only very few specific scenarios where I disagreed with it, and that was with the context of the deck, obviously.
exactly.
And that's something you should always keep in mind when drafting. What does my deck need? How do I win? What is it missing? And just a good balance of gold gain, gold to spend, and big creatures and stuff to ramp into them.
that's-
And you will
it's
have
definitely
yourself
true.
a solid deck.
The thing is,
Now,
the tier list isn't a look what's highest and pick it. It's look what's highest and like does it fit in your deck? Yes, then pick it. Don't use it as a direct guide because
that's a decent way to put
I'll
it.
do it. I'll
Usually,
do it on stream. I'll just pick based entirely off the tier list, and you'll see how bad the draft actually is.
Usually it applies best early in the draft where you don't have that much of a context of your deck and where you are picking the best cards, and that's how it's done. And obviously it still gives you an idea, oh, this card is pretty good, but oh, I actually have 0 gold, why would I pick this death right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, now I think we move on to the prediction time, and I really like this deck, so I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going to say I'm going to go like infinite here. I'm going to go 7 and 3.
I'm gonna go 8 and 3.
I think this deck relies on a lot of getting your Yelps and Customs officers off to be able to afford the full Tetsu and Amulet of Fury and Stamina Potion, which
Yep.
are the best cards here, and those cards are insane. This deck is, I want to say it's pretty good. I'm gonna go 7 wins as well.
Yeah, I think it depends really on the mulligans you get, to be honest, because I think you really need to mulligan for the Amulet of Furies or
Well, no-
like D-Long and
No,
Ichligo.
I think the Barricade has opened up a few options there because
Yeah, that's
all you've got to
that's-
do is get to 4 goals, which is very easy, and then you can
and we
barricade
have
into
3 Ali
Ichligo.
Morrisane.
Yeah, you can barricade into Ichligo, and
Exactly.
then
Yeah.
you're away.
Yeah.
I'm going to say either 6 or 7 wins. Like, I
Go
think it
for it.
is roughly an infinite deck.
But yeah, get your predictions in the chat, guys. You can see a few coming in. Freeves go for 4 and 3. He said at least it's not 0-4, Glenn. Skizit's gone 8 and 3. Alqua 6 and 3. These are all great picks. Flamelash has a lot of confidence in me, apparently.
Yacht is life has also a lot of confidence in us.
Procyon makes a great point. We haven't got any cabin boys, so it's probably looking like an 0 and 3 deck.
I see him.
But yeah, no Ladies A. That's another reason. Yeah, get your predictions in. This has been a really good draft, and I think
That's three Norton 4s. Thank you guys.
Oh, that's a big one, though. Just on the 11-3 in the chat from
Ooh,
Garth.
from Garth.
That's very
This
Ballsy.
deck has a lot of potential with the full Tetsus, I think.
Yeah.
And Barricade.
I think a lot comes down to draw, because we could end up like it. You know how it happens in Dungeoneering, but I could end up drawing all my gold gain and nothing to spend it on. Like
This deck,
that
but
actually
it
could happen.
doesn't feel quite consistent enough to go all the way, I feel.
Yeah, I feel it is slightly too inconsistent because you are
So
going to
it
get those
feels-
draws.
Yeah.
You know.
We're gonna lose few games because of that. I think not like, straight away, but around the 7-win time.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to stream this Dungeoneering draft either later on in the early hours or tomorrow. So if you stay tuned into the Discord, you'll know when I go live. And yeah, I drafted the last one. I played the last one on stream as well. So something I'm going to aim to do every week. But yeah, it's been a good draft.
I like it.
Yeah.
We've got Vexy predicted me in 3 and 3. I thought you had faith. Come on, man. Come on.
Never fail.
Honestly,
Gotta
even
respect
with
her opinion.
even
She's
with
the
the
best player in the game.
even with the worst decks though, you can always get to second floor. Like if you don't get to second floor, you've really done bad.
Mate, I got the best Raptor deck yesterday and I went 2 wins. Feels bad, man.
You're clearly a bad player.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the deck was insane, so I have no excuses.
I guess we move on to where we're going to find out probably the best player in the world. We're going to start with game changers and the announcement that came on the Summer Summit, I think is what it's called, that Jagex did. And they announced the Chronicle World Championships. Woo! Woo! But they are putting up a $10,000 prize pool. I don't think it's going to be $10,000 to first. If I understand it properly, I'd imagine it's going to be a first, second, third prize kind of thing.
It'll be roughly 5-3-2, I'd expect.
Maybe like 7.5, 1.5, 1 or something like that.
That's very top heavy, but it could be, yeah.
I'd like it to be top heavy if it's going to be an invitational, because they're not going to be invitating that many players. I'd imagine at most it's going to be a 32 player tournament, but I think it's probably more looking to be a 16 player tournament.
So I think if it's a 32-player tournament, they'll probably pay top 5. If it's 16, it should be top 3.
But how hyped are we? Because
Oh,
they-
this is
Fucking
good.
chat.
they said it's going to be... they're probably going to use rankings to help a little bit. At the end of the day, they're going to be making the picks based on whoever they want, basically. And I know everyone's gunning for a place, and that's probably why you're seeing a lot of people pushing for Diamond.
I'm so interested in who and how they're gonna pick people in the end, because for now we can only speculate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if they do go off the ladder, you know, at least slightly, I'd like to think one of the 4 of us could make it,
Mhm.
which would be nice.
I think based on track record, as much as it pains me, the guy over to my right is pretty much
get
guaranteed an invite. If he doesn't get an invite, there's
No.
something gone seriously wrong.
Don't say it's guaranteed.
Wrong way,
Don't jinx
Unforgiven. Try again.
Oh, fuck.
Cameras are mirrored. But yeah.
Hoog.
I think Glenn's pretty much guaranteed a place, especially if it's going to be like a LAN, an invitational LAN. Being in the UK as well is definitely going to help. I'm interested to see if they're going to be inviting people and then helping with accommodation and paying for flights and stuff. I'd imagine not, based on the fact that they're going to be putting up a 10 grand prize anyway.
I can see them at least giving you a bit of a stipend towards it, you know, like...
Potentially, yeah. I mean, if you do want the best players in the world, then you're going to have to do that. And with it being the World Championships, like, as much as I hate that name because it shouldn't be an invitation if it's going to be World Championships.
You can get away with it because it's the first one.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah, but I feel like championship...
honestly, I'd really have liked to do regional qualifiers.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Championship kind of makes it sound like you
I
can
would
qualify
move to
rather
NA
than-
then.
Yeah, let me just move to. I'll go over to Asia where we haven't got any of the higher players. I think Stolen's probably the only one that's up there.
I was gonna say, I'll just go to like Australia or New Zealand real quick. And,
Yeah, there's 2 qualified spots from Australia.
There's no players but 2 qualifying spots.
Oh,
But yeah, it's
I'd
going to
like
be
that.
great
Someone
to
in the
see.
Hey, isn't Beardy rank 1?
Beardy.
I mean, I would like to point out that I did promise that if I win, I will buy Glenn a cream egg.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a promise.
oh, we won an Unforgiven Glen final where Unforgiven just throws.
And we get final, I am throwing the game, so I get a cream egg from him.
I'd like to, even if I don't go as a player, because obviously I'm not necessarily one of the top players. I like to think I'm quite good, and I can hold my own against the good players. But if I don't get invited as a player, I definitely want to go to either spectate or do some sort of coverage from there. I think that'd be absolutely fantastic to do.
Friends Valkyrie down.
Whoever gets in, I'm so excited to just watch it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
exactly
like
the
to
same
say,
position.
if they allow people to spectate it, I'll, try and do that. Or, if they need help, obviously I'll try and offer for volunteering. But at the end of the day, it's one of them things where it's like, it's the first time that they're doing something like this for the
think
game.
it sums it up.
You've got to be hyped, right?
They haven't even confirmed where it's going to be.
They haven't confirmed
we're all just
anything
assuming
yet.
it's going to be at Jagex, but
It makes sense. It makes sense for them to probably do it down in Cambridge at some point this summer. They said it would be in summer. If it wasn't in summer, I'd have said RuneFest. But if they said they want to do it in this, at least in summer, so it's probably not going to be a RuneFest. It makes sense to maybe do it at the Insomnia iSeries LAN. I think it makes sense to maybe do it there. But at the same time, if they do that, they've got to ensure the people that get invited have had tickets, and it's just a bit awkward.
It makes a lot more sense to do it kind of internally, I suppose, than it does it Insomnia due to that.
Well, Glenn, you've been down to the Jagex HQ, and it's huge, isn't it? Like, you could definitely host something like this.
They can host a really big tournament there, no problems. I mean, they've got 100. They've got a LAN hall with it's about 60 or 70 gaming PCs in there.
Yeah.
And plus, they've also got more space all around the offices with other computers, so they've got loads of space.
It could be done if that's what they decide to do.
Yeah.
I'd like for it to be, and obviously it'd be great to, even if you participate in the tournament and you get knocked out first round, but being able to spend time with a load of the Chronicle players, because I know we obviously will talk to each other, a lot of us talk to each other on a daily basis in Discord and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be good to meet more of you, because
exactly.
I've met Interjection, Wolf, Zaux. Obviously, I already know you, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd love to meet a load of other of the top players.
I have never traveled, but if I get a chance to go, I will do my best to figure out if it's possible, because I'm really excited about it.
I think a lot of people at this point just want to be involved.
Yeah.
Even if it's not participating, like you say, just being involved in some way, even if it's just supporting people from, your own desk, like.
We esports boys.
Where's my esports monies?
Yeah, I've already spent mine.
I'm gonna get a sponsorship, guys. But yeah, this is absolutely huge for the game, and I think something like this is definitely going to bring in crowds and people that want to play the game. And $10,000 for the first tournament when it's been out on Steam a week is absolutely huge.
This is it. I've completely expected them to do some sort of invitational tournament. Like, they did say they were going to do something, but for one, call it the World Championships, I didn't expect that so early. And then also the prize pool, I was not expecting that kind of money.
It's actually pretty big.
I know we were talking in the break between closed beta and open beta about Jagex hosting big tournaments and stuff, because obviously Zaux has done the Community Cup, and we predicted a prize pool of 500 quid. And they've absolutely just blown us out the water. So.
Isn't this the same amount they have for the old school or RuneScape?
Deadman.
Yeah.
That's, how old is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Deadman isn't that old,
No, but OSRS is. OSRS has been out for so long, and do you know what I mean? The people from OSRS are all. A lot of people play Deadman. And...
Merchants in the chat, esports.
But yeah, this is huge. I think it's a great.
Whatever happens, I'm super excited. I can't hold the PogChamps. Let me type one in the chat right now.
Merchant, just send me a message how much money it's going to cost me to get an invite, and I will pay.
$10,000, Glenn.
That's how they're funding it.
That's how they're funding the prize pool.
Perfect. But if we can just take a step back, because we don't know much about it yet, it might be completely underwhelming and an absolute miserable fail, but we have more faith in Jagex than that. But we're going to be moving on to...
$2 grand to esports, please, merchant at paypal.com.
Perfect. That'll be done after the podcast. But yeah, we're moving on to the card balances. I'd love to sit and talk about the tournament for years and years and speculate, but
I can't wait for
at
it.
this point, there's no real point to. So we're going to move on to some new cards that we got shown at the Summer Summit, in the shape of Morvan's cards. Like we got 4. It's a bit 4 cards. There's not a lot to go off.
Or a cards folk.
No, but it has introduced a new game mechanic. Although you're not showing that one yet. So, right, we'll go back to the...
Well, no, this is a new game mechanic. Woven Carapace, Pace, and strength and numbers are the 2 new cards. You can see them on screen. Woven Carapace is for every Calphite slain, gain 3 armor. And
I'm so excited
as you just
for
heard,
Calphite more, Brad.
the whisper Kyria from Unforgiven was Karis. So it's gonna be fun to see what kind of decks you can make with Morvan. I don't know though. Like I don't know if it's
make a Carries deck.
the problem I have is there's Slayer tasks for stuff like demons, which we've obviously had problems with in the past with Brocash, with the Krills and stuff. And we had a little bit with Greater Demons, and then we had some Black Demons. Like all of these cards have faced little nerfs over the time. And they're still actually quite strong. I know myself and It's Not Easy, the other Ryan, made a Demon RyanN deck. And it was actually really, really strong on ladder because no one knew how to play against it. And the demons are actually so good. But yeah, we had it. I was just about to ask a question actually, and it's been answered by Merchant already. The Slayer tasks last for just a chapter. The other question I have is... do they work with the opponent's stuff? Because if my opponent plays a Calphite Emissary and I play Woven Carapace, I gain 3 armor then?
I would like to point out that the word slain is bolded, which means it will be a keyword, and we haven't been told, as far as I know, the exact wording of what slain actually means. So that might tell us that, answer that question.
Right, okay, well, hopefully Merchant hears and answers it in the chat.
He has just answered a question from Crazy Helm.
Yeah.
Do Slayer tasks last for the whole game or just a chapter? And it is actually just a chapter.
I'd like for it to have been the game, because then you could literally just...
you could get some serious...
slay, and then right at the end it's like, let me just gain 94 armor, a big weapon, and 50 gold. Yay!
See, that's what I presumed it was, actually.
Slain actually means killed by you that chapter.
Yeah, so only your own stuff counts.
I don't know, it feels a bit underwhelming because you can gain 9 armor and that's not actually that much. And
I want to see all the cards before I say, because I would like to point out now 9 armor for nothing is actually a lot.
Yeah, but you can do something better with that. You can do something better with that slot, I feel. From gaining gold, equipping a weapon.
That's why
depends how you build your deck.
Yeah,
it does also depend on what the Calphites are that come out. You might get some really good Calphites.
Oh, here you go. Merch, it's just wait till you see the demon one.
I think, honestly, with the introduction of Morvan, Brooks and Burson's probably going to see a lot more play. Basically, you take on all your creatures you're going to kill and then wait for this big reward at the end of it, and it's like, you can't afford it, GG. So... everyone's speculating about all sorts of stuff in the chat. But at the end of the day, for me, these have to be really good rewards if they only count... Well, we've had it basically confirmed that they only work for the chapter and for your creatures. So, strength and numbers, for me, seems a bit trash, because, to be honest, there's a few good goblins.
That you don't have to kill, except you have to kill the goblins before you play it.
Exactly. Imagine that, Stinkiest, Goblin Trickster, and then strength and numbers. It's like, let me just gain loads of goblins.
This is the direction they've been pushing the goblin tribal in a way where they kind of feed off each other. They're not good enough synergies and enough of good goblins yet, but that's something that could eventually get there. Currently there's Slime Toes and Flash Mob and
I knew there was a reason Durando was my favourite mod and not Merchant.
He has just said the Demon Slayer task is for every demon slain, it's 4-0 Glenn. Which, but yeah, I think the whole thing with the goblins, it definitely relates back to RuneScape, at least from my memory of experience of playing it. In OSRS, there's a goblin village, and they're all obviously helping each other out and stuff. I don't know, it just makes sense for them to all work together quite well. We do need a couple
I-
more good goblins to make that viable deck, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what the Slayer tasks
Oh.
provide. They need to
Person teasing us.
I know.
exactly. But yeah, we're going to
We
move
will
on
see.
to the other 2 new cards that we've had shown with Morvran, and they are using the new mechanic. Glenn, you wanted to talk about this, so off you go.
Yay! Yes, it's one that
The
we've
mechanic.
spoken about a lot in the past.
Mhm.
And I can't remember who the first. It definitely came from the players in closed beta. This idea.
Yeah.
And it's this aggressive mechanic where your next creature will strike you before
We
you
did it.
strike it. We did it, Reddit.
But yeah, we have I don't know how to say that word. Iorworth, Hellhound, and Guard Dog. Now, for me, Guard Dog is awful, and the Hellhound is actually quite good.
Before I call Guard Dog awful, I want to see all the new beasts that come out and if there's anything
Oh,
interesting.
SM Orc,
that-
boys.
Well,
SM
which
Orc, we're playing
beasts-
Face Hunter.
Which beasts are already in the game?
That's what I'm about to look
That's the
at.
thing, I haven't
right now.
looked it up. There's
Dagonoff's White Wolf.
All right,
what
okay,
else?
we got.
There is actually a few.
I'm reading them out
decent
now.
ones.
You've got Giant Spider, KGP Agent, Jubbly Bird, Penguin Sheep, White Wolf, Dagonoth Fledgling, Scorpion, Giant Rat, Grizzly Bear, Cerberus, Gluttonous Behemoth, Grotworm, and Dagonoth Sentinel. We have 3 in Raptor, which are Rock Crab, Revenant Dark Beast, and Court Beast. 5 in Ozan, which are Desert Snake, Ugthanki, Hope Devourer. That's actually quite a good card. Oh shit.
that's what I was.
A Rooney, well, Mingli Wayne Rooney,
Yep.
Desert Strike Worm, and then 5 of Venescula, which are both the Leeches, both the Werewolves, and Terror Dog. So
So there's a
what
lot
does
of
this
actually
activate?
quite good ones.
this activates Alpha Werewolf and Werewolf Rebel, Hope Devourer, Mingli Wayne Rooney, and Desert Strike Worm, Revenant Dark Beast and Court Beast. Okay, it's not
I
actually that bad. I didn't realise
I
that.
think-
Actually quite good.
No, it's actually a lot better than you think.
I
Because,
didn't
because it
realise
draws
that
as
there were
well.
beasts
It's
in
not
the
random.
game. I didn't
Yeah,
realise
the
that.
Yeah,
biggest
yeah.
problem is actually for this effect taking 4 though guaranteed is quite heavy, but like Merson said, we haven't seen all the new beasts that will probably come out, and this card can enable some really specific combos where you can always or more consistently find the specific card you need, and that's always interesting.
Yeah,
In all honesty, it's
Okay.
not too far off being playable currently due
Mhm.
to some of the
It
ones
might
we
even
get.
be.
So if it gets better.
yeah. Honestly, I didn't realise that beast was even a thing. So TIL.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could use it to pull the Sentinels. I don't know about Gluttonous Behemoth. I don't think it's that good.
Even if you only use it for like fledglings and sentinels, it's fine.
5
yeah.
or more attack, so fledgling wouldn't work, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, is it 5 more attack?
There'll probably be
Yeah.
one that does the converse of pair of shoes, inverse, which is draw a beast with 4, probably less than 5, 4 or less attack. I'd imagine that's probably gonna be a thing as well.
Yeah,
But for
it
me,
just opens up like another layer of depth in deck building,
yeah,
which
exactly.
is, which is always
Mhm.
good.
It's
Iorworth-
interesting. I like the card.
Iorworth Hellhound is I don't actually
I-
mind it. It's like a better mimic.
I like to call this mimic in steroids in the sense it's even bigger risk for a slightly bigger reward. Like if this gets Arc made Cedridor, you're gonna cry. But
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, 14 damage on 2
but
beasts.
5 for taking 5, it's better than Mimic, right? Mimic is pretty good in some decks already, so
Yeah.
this card could have a place.
The other thing is the introduction of aggressive. I think is going to make mortal cards more viable because you're going to be using the aggressive effects to take that damage. Because I know myself, I sometimes face tank a Jad to activate mortal, and I know Glenn does it as well. I know you've done it in the past. I know there's a few players that actually will purposely take a lot of damage so you can play things like Derek, so you can play your certification into Slacker Sharks and
It's a risky play because you're relying on your opponent having a pretty passive deck.
exactly. But
So
with something
I
like
wouldn't ever do
Iorworth
it against
Hellhound,
RyanN. I wouldn't ever do it against RyanN or someone who I thought was running aggro Venescula.
that's what I mean.
But
If
if
you
I'm
can,
against a Raptor, most of the time it's pretty safe.
Yes.
and I think aggressive is definitely going to make mortal effects much better.
And I wonder if aggressive could make stuff like Dr. Finkenstein more playable because they would always hit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
so-
going to say that actually, because it does, it does just straight away. If aggressive sees a lot of play, anything that boosts attack or even anything that boosts health, because they tend to have, well, I would expect they tend to have a lower health due to the fact that you've already taken one hit.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So if you then boost their health, you're taking a lot more. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, what someone said on the Twitch chat is that you can reduce their health and. Is it confirmed that they attack you? Even
They said
it's
no.
down.
They said it. They said it in the Summer
it would
Summit.
make sense.
They said it in the Summer Summit. Even if you reduce its health to 0, it still hits you.
I
That's a
don't like
bummer.
that. I don't like that.
I would have liked the interaction where you can try to kill them before you reach them. But,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense to
Like, it
once
would
you
add more
approach, once you meet it, like if it's got 0 health, it should be dead.
And cards like Sap Life Force and things that deal damage to your next cards could become.
Yeah, Flurry, Bounty Hunt's another
A lot
one.
of interesting combos could be a thing.
I
But
think
now,
it makes
they
cards
probably
that
also be balanced around that, but.
it makes
well, it
cards
would
that
add
aren't
a-
played at the minute. It makes cards that aren't played at the minute. In constructed at least, like Top Chill, Flurry, Bounty
I
Hunt,
think
all these
there's some
things.
that are already play Count Rainer.
Well, yeah.
Basically, they've been balanced around this fact and it's fine, but I would have liked the extra mechanic in a way, but oh well.
The other
It's gonna
thing,
it's gonna work.
the other mechanic that doesn't really make much sense to mention, I guess, is if you take something down to 0 attack, you still don't take a weapon durability because it just shatters into a million pieces. So that's another thing I'd like to see
I was
changed.
kind of assuming something similar would have happened here, but apparently not.
Well, they said it on the Summer Summit. If you go back and watch the video that's on their YouTube channel, you can look into that. And yeah, I agree. I don't really like that happening. I'd like to be able to reduce its attack and not take a hit. But then, if you look at it that way, you've got to kind of think that these rewards are going to be huge, and not really risking and taking any damage or anything like that.
I
could
also
be too much.
wonder if Morvan will have a mechanic to remove the aggressive, because that would be interesting.
I'd like him to be able to apply it to the opponent's creatures as well.
That will. I'm pretty sure that's almost confirmed, at least.
It should be.
Yeah. One question I've got for you lot.
Mhm.
What current cards would you like to have the aggressive?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. They didn't say that they don't know whether or not they want to put it on some cards. Now, the obvious one that everyone's already said is White Wolf. Like, if you've ever played RuneScape, you'll know them things are the most aggressive things in the game.
I think you'd make it 2/4.
Well, I think all you have to do is remove the 2 guaranteed damage it does to you and make it aggressive. I don't know.
Would be a
Just deal
nerf,
more damage
though.
to you on 2 base.
It wouldn't be a nerf at all. Yeah, if it does more damage, it makes more sense based on the lore. 2 gold and 2 card draw is actually a lot. Do you know what I mean?
It is, and the card is very good, but at the same time, with all the aggro around, it's also some people like cutting it from their decks already, and I wouldn't want it to hurt you any more than it does now. So if it does have an aggressive keyword, it shouldn't deal more than 5 if you kill it with 2 base, in my opinion.
I understand it. Maybe make it like I don't know. I don't like the guaranteed take 2 damage off it. So if you can make it aggressive and then make it hit you, and I don't know. I'd like to see it change though to make it aggressive. The stat baseline would obviously have to change. But honestly, I don't know many of the cards because I don't really follow RuneScape much that I would like to do damage to you.
Any card that really damages yourself currently could be balanced around the aggressive mechanic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
Tormented
something right
Demon?
now, but that damages both, but potentially.
Like I don't know. There's a few that maybe they just put them in for the sake of it rather than following any lore. Maybe make more beasts aggressive. Grizzly Bear makes more sense, I guess.
If you follow the lore, I suspect Dagnarth Sentinel.
Yeah.
Could,
Jad.
obviously not with the stat
Fucking
line
Jad.
instead, but
Jesus
Jad,
Christ. Good game, guys. Good
aggressive.
game.
Make the fucking what's it called, the fight kill Chad, aggressive version of the current one, but with like double the rewards. It would be so good. It would be such a risk, but so PogChamp.
I think you'd still
so
risk
like
it though, right?
A Mascot Temple Guard. There you go. Take 4 damage, double your gold. That could be rebalanced around aggressive.
Yeah, possibly.
There are a few things that you could.
But yeah, I don't know. They did say that they don't know whether or not they're going to add it to cards at the minute. I don't know. I think if you do that, you have to spend a lot of time rebalancing some of the cards.
White
Yeah,
Wolf is the obvious one, because that's been brought up when the mechanic was first ever discussed. So if any card should get it, it's that one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you don't want to give too many cards it actually, because it is potentially going to be a very powerful mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's why I think being able to introduce it to random cards is actually going to be really strong. Like you hit it and it's like, yeah, you take 15 off Jad, or you take 8 off Dagger Sentinel.
Ouch, ouch. Like,
I think
there's some cards you're planning on taking 1 or 2 hits off anyway, and then all of a sudden you're taking another one.
It's kind of like Fur in a sense that you take an extra hit. It works kind of differently, but it's similar thing where you probably take an extra hit that you didn't plan for.
Yeah, yeah.
This also, I think this whole mechanic introduces the idea that I've had for a while that I really want a shug for your opponent's card. Because I imagine there's going to be some aggressive creatures that have a backwards stat line. They're going to be like a 2/7 or something like that. They're going to hit you once and then like, you can take them out in 1 hit if you're good, or you can take them out in 3 hits or whatever.
No,
but
no.
my point is being able to swap it round and then make them take a guaranteed smack in the face of 7.
Lord Ivan meta.
Lord Ivan meta.
Lord Ivan's the only one that can do that to your opponent's cards. But just like a single shug, like opponent shug.
I see what you're saying.
It'd be quite fun, I think. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, I guess I'd like to see that card, but we'll have to see. The other thing, well, considering we're on the card changes part, I think we needed to discuss a few of the cards that are currently being, for lack of a better term, bitched about by everyone. I've not got
PJ Salt.
I've not got anything on the screen at the minute, but we just want to talk about a few of the cards. I think the first one that definitely gets everyone going is Full Tetsu. 5 gold for 14 heal is fucking stupid. I just want to start with that. I've been playing a lot of Grief Linzer, and that abuses that card so much. And I don't know about you guys' thoughts, but I'd love to see it reduced to a 6/6. I just think 14 health swing is absolutely huge at the minute, and possibly too much.
I think that extra 1 health is massive, because a lot. So for example, in RyanN, a lot of her damage is in multiples of 3. So
or
you got
6s,
Windstrike. Yeah, 3s and 6s. So
Infernal Mage is one.
Skeletal Mage.
Yep.
So if you take that 1 extra health heal off it, all of a sudden it becomes a lot weaker. Like it's still a very, very, very strong heal, but at the moment 7 and 7 is ridiculous.
Yeah. See,
I actually think you could take a couple of the armor off to make it more conditional on you having less health. Because at the moment it's actually still half decent if you're on full health.
But yeah,
if
you're playing Grief Linzer and it's last chapter and you haven't drawn something like a Karam or your Tetsu Katana, you just smack it down for an extra 7 armor anyway. Like, it doesn't hurt at all. So I see where you're coming from. The thing with this card is, you think it's great, like, on base, 5 gold for 7/7 seems okay. But then you think, Darren Lightfinger gives you 1 gold and then takes 4 cost off the next one. It's a free full Tetsu. That's absolutely insane. Like, you just work to do 14 damage to me. I could play 2 cards and just nullify all of that. It's just a bit much at the minute.
While I do agree that Full Tetsu is one of the better heal cards out there and could be tuned down, I really came prepared to defend the heals here today, because there's been a lot of bitching about heals being too strong, and aggro is more popular than in a long time in my opinion, and we really need to be careful this. And obviously the big one is the cannonballs and Lady Z, but the other thing to keep an eye out is an aggro Ozan, which is already quite popular even in flat, and even to an extent in diamond, and the 1 attack area, because even when they don't have to rely on the Lady Z's broken effect, they can still, even with the current state of the heals, they can out damage you. So I don't want to see too many nerfs to heals, at
Yeah.
least without tuning down some of the aggro
I'm in the same boat as
possibilities
you.
as well.
I'm in the same boat as you. We discussed
if
this, and
when you go do this, you should do it slowly, bit at a time, without completely destroying the
Yeah.
meta at once, which is what I'm afraid
There
will
is
happen.
3 cards I would like to see changed. Obviously, 2 of them you've already mentioned, Full Tetsu and Lady Zay, which are, in my opinion, the 2 that definitely need changing.
Hmm?
The third one, I would like to see a slight difference. It's a 2-card combo, admittedly, but Count Drainer into Cully is currently a huge
I would
heal with a small
Personally,
wrist.
go for the Kool-Aid.
see,
because I
I'd
think
rather
that's a
go
really
for
strong
Draenor.
card.
The way I see it is, everyone says Kale is ridiculous because it gives you a 4 reach very quickly. Draenor does exactly the same, even if it is for only 1 slot.
Kale
Most of the
can also
time-
give you 8 damage reach, and it can give you 4 damage reach for 2 slot. It can turn itself into 8 damage. It can do so much. It's so versatile and so free.
I don't know. I don't like Draenor. Like you can take you can take a hit of Draenor and still get a net gain. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Cully being like reduced to 8 health or something that could work as well. But I think if you reduce, I don't know, you reduce Cully's too much, and then you can't reach into it with Kale when that gets changed, and it starts becoming a bit. Okay, we're going to be focused more and more on the aggressive part. Cully's great. Like as you say, they need to slowly start toning them down rather than smacking them all at once and then expecting everything to balance out. I'd like to see a change to Full Tetsu first, and then if everyone sees like obviously Full Tetsu and Zay, and then if everyone
Yes,
goes,
I was about to say.
if everyone goes, oh god, like it's still healing is still like it's actually really strong, and not being able to do that guaranteed 3 damage with Zay or whatever, it's actually broken the game because everyone just heals up past any aggro. Then that's when you look at kind of the rest of the heals. It's just
People,
Full Tetsu is
Repurpose
just too
is
much.
another heal that might be out too strong.
It's
Slide.
Yeah.
310
Yeah.
heal.
We all thought that in closed beta.
Yeah.
We all thought
Yeah.
that in closed beta that Free Purpose was a ridiculously strong card. But and then all that happened to potentially nerf it was they made it a ruby.
Yeah.
We were already back then talking about making it 8 armor, and I would be fine with that.
I'm an
Like,
advocate
look how
for that as
good
well.
is full Tetsu. Obviously, that's some actual health healing, but during times armor can be even better. And if we look at that, repurpose is 10 for 0. Obviously, you need the weapon, which has some value, quite a lot in Linza even. But something like Calphite Warrior weapon or Major Barry weapon, you have those everywhere. You can always have get the repurpose off, and 10 armor is so much.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. They just need to be careful because you nerf everything at once, like all the heals at once, and then you turn into a seriously aggro-focused meta. And I know they were trying to push the game away from that for the longest time because we had everyone playing OTK Zan, we had everyone playing aggro Zan, like Freeb's version at least, that absolutely just smashed the hell out of you. And by the end of chapter 2, you were dead. Like they've pushed the game far away enough that I think heals have come into their own, but I almost feel it's a little bit too much. There's a lot of decks out there that will struggle unless they can burst you in one go with like an Earth Blast or a 27 damage Lady Zay or a Pulverized Linza or something like that. And it's just it's a little bit too difficult to do sustained damage and win at the minute.
I have also thought that the other card people have been really angry about is the Redbeard Frank. And I've thought which playstyle that would nerf more, and personally I think it would be the slow control healing playstyle, and that could also nerf that playstyle a little bit without actually touching the heals themselves, which is something I would like to keep in mind as well.
I think the issue at the moment is, due to the amount of good heals there is, it's very easy to play super greedy.
It
And
is.
it can be very hard to actually punish the greed if you play it right.
It is.
Which, you
There
know,
is not enough punishing.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think either taking, obviously, like you said earlier, look at Full Tetsu and Zay first, change them, see what happens. But I think, personally, making Kandraina Steel 3 instead of 4, it makes it break even if you take one hit.
Yeah,
And
I've been an advocate
you know,
for that for the longest time. I think it just makes more sense. On
Because
two
I'd rather see
base,
that
you
changed
shouldn't be
in
able to
Cully.
go into Cully. You should not be able to go into Cully without taking a hit. And at the minute, Draenor Cully is 14 heal on 2 bases, which is what you start on. Like, that is
It also
absolutely
sucks
insane.
Draenor Jad.
Yeah.
I might be slightly biased about Draenor because it's one of my favorite cards, and nerfing it would actually be interesting because it would open up room in Constructed for Toxil and Monolith Chamber to potentially be
Yeah,
played,
exactly.
which are cards that Draenor just completely outclasses at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have played, you know, a fair bit of both aggro and AP stacking, you know, so I'd like to think I'm relatively unbiased on it. I might not be, you know, I might be biased towards aggro, but yeah, personally, I think just even being able to go straight into a Jad on 3 base is, you know, quite big as well.
Draenor,
Yes.
Draenor Kaiser's Jad is something that I don't think should be able to happen.
Especially
it's
because
just
that's a lot less
ridiculous.
griefable than Slime Toes Jad. Sorry, Slime Toes
Santos, Draenor, Jad.
Draenor Jad.
So, are we actually thinking that instead of heals being the problem, is actually how
Reach.
easy it is to ramp up right now
Yeah,
with
well,
Kale?
Kale is obviously a massive problem. I think Draenor, while it gives you reach, it also heals you. Like, this is actually ridiculous of how much it enables in the game. And
It is.
it also serves, as stupid as it sounds, as a barrier for something big with where Morwenna or Archmage Sevdor or even Fern, if they hit your Draenor, you're not as worried as if it's going to hit the Jad afterwards. Like, unless you're a
unless you've got a
seriously
weapon.
good player and you can expect their Draenor into something and you can grief the second thing, unless you're a seriously good player who can predict that well, like, Morwenna's most of the time going to hit your the Draenor rather than the big thing behind it. It has too many good reasons, and there's no reason really to not play Draenor at this point.
It's just so hard to even think about how much it would affect the ramping if there actually was no good 4 health reach, except I guess Toxil, which might become the next playable thing if Draenor gets
But
there.
the thing with Tok Chill, it's actually got downsides. Like, it removes your health. It doesn't
well, it
give
also
you health.
rewards armor actually, so it kind of turns health into armor. Yeah, I see what you're saying, and it's obviously a worse card than Draenor. That's why Draenor is played and that card is not. But it's just even just delete Kale from every
Yeah,
deck.
That's
Like
it.
how much harder it might be to reach into things. It's pretty hard to just imagine a world without Kale, to be honest. We're
Yeah,
so
it's
used
a scary
to it.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You'll see a lot more late game, like Dagon Sentinels and stuff, because Kale is like, you can take a hit of it and then it heals you up 5, which doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know the lore or anything, but being able to take a hit off it and only take a net damage of 3 is a bit stupid.
I think it's because if you took 2 hits off it and it didn't heal, you were so far behind. Like, you know, 'cause
Yeah, but it's an
taking 16
8-9.
without
Like,
the heal is
it's an 8-9. You shouldn't be able to play it chapter 1 or 2. For me, big monsters should be played either chapter 3 earliest, or you have to spend a lot of stuff to seriously ramp into it. And at the minute,
So is
Dagonoth, fucking Slime Toes, reach into it, you take 1 hit off it and heal up that, like 5 of that 8 damage. What?
Is this where you would actually like the thing where we actually have mid-sized attack gain creatures that you mentioned one
Possibly,
time,
yeah.
instead of these ramp cards from this KGP-sized creature to this Jad-sized creature, but we could actually have a middle ground with
Yeah,
maybe like,
rather than
I don't know,
having
5 health
the
creatures.
stupid big ramps, having something that's a little bit more attainable earlier on that can allow you to then take on the bigger creatures, it just makes more sense. The amount of games I've played where you take on a Sentinel, a Jad, and then the last chapter you play KGP, like, that's completely arse end backwards. You take on the big creatures first,
I
and
don't
then
mind that. I don't mind that. Like, because even playing like that is high risk. So that if you get grief there, then you're in big trouble.
It is,
No, but
and what
to
happened
grief-
with Chronic-
reward.
to grief well, you need something to do that. Like, unless Dust Devil or Stagger, but if you're talking
Something
about,
I've
I don't know.
always enjoyed about Chronicle is the figuring out ways to cheat your way into these big creatures with big effect efficiently. It's been part of the fun and the point of the deck building.
Yeah.
Oh, I killed chapter 1 Chad. Hog Chad. Like,
Yeah.
that's when you feel
I
like
don't
you
mind
are
that at
onto
all,
something.
but it just takes so little effort at the minute. It's
Just
too
kind
easy.
of.
It's too easy to ramp into
I don't
something
completely disagree, at least.
huge. I think Slime Toes is the right amount of reach. That the three I think should be right. unless you're
Slime
sacrificing
Toad already
something
is one
with
of
top
the
tier
best
Monster
cards in
Chamber.
the game, arguably.
Slime Toad,
Like, there
I
are
think, has
cards-
got it perfectly right. For 3 reach, like I don't mind going to Jad last card if you've used 2 AP gains first. Just
Slime Toad is a
makes more
good
sense.
card because it's a very strong, kind of basic in a way card. It just gives you this weapon to work with, and it's a good card. Good cards should exist, so
Yeah.
it's not a bad design by any means.
Yeah, I see in the chat some people are saying Drainer's fine, it's strong, but it's not broken. Possibly, it's just. I think if you remove Kale, which no one can disagree that Kale is absolutely stupid. You remove Kale, you'll see Draenor come into its own because it's the best way to reach into anything. And at that point, everyone I think will notice that this is actually a really, really good card. And it's probably too much. It's too much too quick.
What I'd actually like to see before any other balance changes happen is all the diamond balance changes that people are asking for.
Yeah.
So Kale, maybe Morwenna, Lady Zay, and Redbeard Frank, maybe BKT. Those are the ones people are mostly talking about as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
And
that's
the big
it.
ones are, to me, are Kale and Redbeard Frank. Like, it's so hard to imagine the place the game would be after that, and I don't want to go around making a call that full Tetsu would still be too good after that. Maybe it would be, and then we can change that.
Well, that's it. Redbeard Frank counters Full Tetsu with the gold destruction.
Yeah.
And if you make Redbeard Frank worse, you make Full Tetsu even better. Like, you've got to have
But
no
at the
way...
same time, I'd argue you make damage-dealing cards that cost gold better. You make Earth Blast better. You make.
You can't make
Spell
Earth Blast
Boots
better. Earth Blast
You
is
make
one of the
Wind
top tier
Surge
card
better.
already.
If Lady Zay costs gold like it should, that would be better again. Like, there's a lot of. It denies more of aggro options than it does healing options currently, is basically what I'm
Possibly.
trying to say.
I still think, like, as much as I agree with the diamonds, I still think that Tetsu needs a little tweak first.
That might
Because it's
well be the
ridiculously strong. Like, OP is the term I'd use to describe it at the minute. But yeah, then I think you do full Tetsu at least before the diamonds. Then I don't mind like doing the diamonds, and I would like to see them actually buff a couple of the diamonds and bring more diamonds into play because I don't know. There's a lot that are just quite frankly quite bad. Wise Old Man, Papa Mambo. There's
Tokash.
Bill Rack's not stellar. Tokash is okay.
Bilrak-
Billrack's okay. Billrack is actually seeing
Bilrak
competitive use.
Bilrak is just extremely greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The problem with Bill Rack
people are
is
greedy enough right now that some people have successfully ran it already.
the problem with Bill Rack is you need 6 damage for 3 hits, and then even then you're not guaranteed to heal up a lot.
Or you can destroy it like that one guy I played again.
I wouldn't mind them bringing its health down by 1 or 2, just to make it more attainable, especially if you're getting rid of something like Kale, which a lot of people are going to use to reach into something like Bilrak. I don't know, Bilrak's just a little bit too big of a creature, and there's enough diamonds out there that Ranish Draken's being played by, I think John is on the ladder playing it, but let's be honest, it's not a great card. Death is okay, just costs a little bit too much. There's enough diamonds that need a little change before they make play. And I'd like to see, with the nerfs, come a few little buffs to these cards.
Yeah, I think the only reason we haven't seen any changes to diamonds because they want to have the refund system in place before they make any changes to diamonds.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. But yeah, like, I think we kind of touched on what we wanted to touch on here, that heals may feel a bit too strong in certain games, but at the same time, like, aggro is very, very prevalent. Unforgiven is definitely a test to that.
It's a very, very tough thing to balance between aggro and healing.
Yes. I just have flashbacks
I don't think it's
from
in a
the
terrible
one attack
position.
RyanN meta that
Yeah.
was around.
Yeah.
before,
I don't think
if
it's in a
anyone
terrible
knows.
position at the moment.
Aggro, I think, is
not
in one of the
too
better
bad.
positions it's ever been in. It's
Not
just,
ever,
it's
but in a
literally
while.
just full Tetsu, and how easily it's enabled by Darren Lightfinger, because Hopeland's obviously a very popular
I still
deck.
don't think it's just that, but yeah.
It's
that's
definitely
really good.
hurting a lot.
It's a really good card.
If you can get 2 off, that's 28 health. If you reduce it by like 2 heal, 24 health is actually a lot easier to hit. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up what we want to touch on there. There's a few cards that need little tweaks, but in whole, if we're debating about turning something from 40 to 12 health, I think it kind of shows how well Jagex have done with balancing the game. Because before we were talking about massive nerfs and absolutely destroying Yoga Shaman because it did 2 times, and absolutely destroy Earthwave originally because that was 2 times, but that was fucking stupid. Ogre Brute, massive attack reduction. But if we're talking about cards now that need little 1 or 2 health changes, I think it definitely shows that they've done a very good job of bringing the game into a meta where, quite frankly, no card seems broken.
One of the more, I guess, broken cards are diamonds, which, like we said, they can't
do anything yet.
Later when they get the system or the refunds in place. So that's gonna be exciting if and when that happens. At least Kale is hopefully getting changed.
Kale on the chopping block and Zay. Honestly, I don't think they need the new system to change Zay. All they need to do is get rid of that 3 fucking damage.
No. It literally reduces 3 damage. So instead of 15, you're doing 12. That's not a big... big combo cards like that, in my opinion, should cost gold. Like, Earth Blast costs 8, Earth Wave is 5. I'm not sure which amount of gold Lady Zay should cost, because it requires these cannonball setups, and the cannonball cards can cost gold themselves. I guess you can make the same argument for card draw in general, but that's not exactly the same. But I would like it to have a gold cost of some sort.
See, I think just 1 or 2 would do it, to be honest. Like, I don't think it needs to cost much.
Maybe.
Like, I would be actually fine if it cost 1 gold.
I was talking to you and Unforgiven about this yesterday.
We'll see where it is after that.
I talked to you yesterday about this Unforgiven, but do you not think it's maybe a little bit too easy to get loads of cannonballs? Pirate's Hideout, you're willing to take that 3 damage if you know you can just burst them to death in the next go.
The only reason cannonballs are good is because
maybe.
So
I think even if you add 1 gold cost to it, people are just going to go, Ali Morris and Pirate's Hideout, Zay.
I just don't
and that's still stupid damage.
Card that can deal over 20
I understand
damage.
that, but I honestly don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Because I know, at least I do, in my Pirate RyanN, I run excess gold. I always end games with 5 or 6 gold.
Everyone always up to 3 guaranteed damage, but to be honest, if they change that, that would almost change nothing, in my opinion. It would
I would like to see it still do 1, like, you know, even if it's just 1 damage, you know, like a slight little nip if you've got no cannonballs, like. I think.
Well, so time to get desperate.
Instead of shooting cannonballs, you're literally just throwing the cannon at them.
What are you trying? You're picking it up and you're hurting yourself with it. Yeah, it's a rough card to balance because I think you make it cost too much gold, you ruin it. You make it cost a little bit of gold, it's not effective enough because, quite frankly, you're gonna have one. You change 1 card out for a gold getting card, and then you still get good again. Or you make Kaizaj, like, in that way worse because you don't want to give them any gold. Like, I know you don't now, but against the Pirate RyanN, you're not that worried because they're going to run their own gold game. So if you can run Kaizaj, but then if it starts making Zay cost gold, you're basically killing yourself. Here, kill me is basically what you're saying. Take this, kill me. But yeah, I think that kind of covers roughly what we wanted to go over. It was a bit all over the place, but it kind of gets the point across that the game's very balanced and heals maybe need a little touch, but at the same time,
there are a few cards.
The diamonds are the problem, I think. The diamonds are the main problem here. And that's going to move us into the last and, I guess, best section because we had to just chill out.
Any questions in the chat?
Yeah,
I think, Musher, you said you'd got one from earlier?
Yes, we have one from earlier.
It's a very important one.
The question was, when will Glenn rematch Vexy, or is Vexy #1 forever? So, I guess we'll hand that over to you.
Right, in that case, fight me. After this weekend, I'm actually, as soon as this I'm driving to my, so I'm not actually going to be around all weekend. So maybe Sunday night. I'm coming for you, Vexy. You're mine.
But yeah, like, it's been a great podcast. I think the thing we can always come back to is the tournament. It's like, even though we were talking about card balances and stuff like that a minute ago, I just kept going through my head like this is huge. This is so good.
I've got an interesting thing because Noxious has been playing the game, and he played it before he even got sponsored to do videos. Yeah. You reckon he'll get an invite?
I I think they have to, right? Like if I was organising it, I'd
I
probably
don't know.
invite him.
If
It
you're
would
doing an
be-
invitational, you want the best players, and he's not necessarily the best player. He's just a well-known player.
It would help to get in some actual established personalities from other communities. It would bring in viewers and exposure, and I think
At the
having
same
a few
time-
people that are there just for their persona is a reasonable thing.
At the same time, they have to make a
people
big
who
tournament
half
then.
know the game.
Yeah.
You know, like they
Yeah.
need to at least know what they're doing. Otherwise, when
They can
like,
be absolutely clueless playing fucking Green Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, we all watched Trump stream, and he's a good Hearthstone player, but Jesus Christ, he was bad at Chronicle. Like,
Crip got it though.
Crip
gets it.
gets it,
Crip
seems good.
gets it.
But yeah, I think the problem with inviting people like Noxious, if you had a load of people who are just quite frankly bad at the game, everyone's going to look at it and kind of laugh like, this is seriously a tournament for 10 grand.
But
So you need to be careful. I'd rather them just get
That's
them
why-
people to pimp it out and go along rather than actually playing it, if that's actually
that's
possible.
why I want to think someone like Noxious would be one of the better personas, because like Len said, he had played the game on his own time, and I watched his video and he wasn't at least absolutely clueless. He had made a reasonable player deck for a new player, and he had the basic understanding of the game, basically. He was getting it at least to an extent, and if he keeps playing, he might get it even more.
Yeah,
Seems
I mean, it's good to see that a lot of the pro like Hearthstone players actually enjoyed this game.
Yeah.
We all love it. That's just the way it is. But
Most
Do
people
we?
who have
I
actually,
hate
most
it.
bigger guys who have played this game have really liked it.
yeah, the thing that surprised me was the other day when I was just sat there minding my own business and I get a WhatsApp message off Glenn like, I'm watching Severus play Chronicle, and I was like, what? Like, Severus used to be a guy I watched every single day on Twitch. He's a great personality, and he's part of the Nerd Fusion channel. I don't know if you guys know of it. But him and Dan, or Dan's game.
Dennis game?
Yeah, exactly.
chat.
They're both. He's the guy behind that, and they picked up the game and they really enjoyed it. They got the game. They knew what they were doing, and it was just fun to watch. The big personalities actually getting the game and enjoying it, and I think that's a very big pat on the back to Jake's, because it's a great game. And you've seen, I don't know if you guys spent time on the Reddit, the review left on MMORPG says that Chronicle is actually muscling in on Hearthstone territory, and that's a huge claim to make, because Hearthstone's obviously so well known, so popular, and it has so many concurrent players. To make a claim like that, it's actually massive. But anyway, we have a question in the chat from FlameLash1. Any speculation on the legends to be released after Morvran?
Well, the one that have been mentioned is that they want to make an old school legend next. With who it's gonna be has not been decided yet, and I think Merchant did mention that they're free to take ideas who we want to see and such.
Mm-hmm.
So, Unforgiven, you play old school, right?
Yeah, more or less.
So, personally, I don't. And I don't think either Glenn or Ryan do.
No,
I
used
don't
to,
play
but
any
not anymore.
RuneScape whatsoever.
Okay, so who would you like to see in that case? You know, because you are out of the
That's
four of
a-
us the one with the best.
That's an
opinion.
interesting question, because I have never been as much of an old school only player as a lot of people. I still recognize. I've played RS3 a fair bit, and I I feel like a lot of the old school characters are also RS3 characters in my mind. So it's hard to pinpoint a one that is old school, iconic just for old school, and I think they can either do that by taking someone who everyone who ever played RuneScape at all knows, or just taking something old school only content that only the old school players will recognize. I can't at least quickly come up with any suggestions myself, except the obvious one, which is Gnome Child, but that's just a meme, so I like memes.
Yeah. I can think of a couple actually from RS3, if you don't mind me mentioning.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one, I can't remember his name, sadly, but the guy from Fight Quest, is it? The Lord guy who you need to fight.
Fight Arena or what?
Fight
quest?
Arena, sorry, that's the one, yeah.
Do you mean the General Khazard?
That's the one.
Yes. That's the guy.
Either General Khazard or the person from the Merlin quest, the evil Morgan Le Fay.
Ripscope.
Harder to do. Could get. I'm not sure where they stand copyright-wise with that.
Yeah, I
But
don't know personally. I just play the game. Like Linda is a person. Ozan is another person. Where they come from? Fuck knows. They can be literally anywhere in. Is it Gillinor? I don't know how to say the place. Jesus.
I'm pretty sure you nailed it.
They want one.
oh, Zanuck.
So,
There we go.
gotta go,
I
gotta
such
go
a decent
fast.
taste. I'm pretty sure Merchant said he didn't like the idea of Zanuck as a legend, which to me was a shame because the one thing I remember from RuneScape was the Cave Goblin Quest series, and I did enjoy that.
Gotta go fast, boys. Sonic.
Champ.
I'd like. I know they want 8, but based on previous releases of Legends, it's going to be so tough to balance. They struggled with Venescula originally. Imagine what's going to happen. They're going to introduce Morvran. He's going to ruin the game. They're going to fix the game. They're going to release a 7th legend. It's going to be even worse because there's 6 more legends to balance it around, and it's just going to progressively get worse and worse. So,
they'll be alright.
good luck to them because Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry, I did actually think of one more. Hazelmere. Sorry, I'll stop with that one.
It's fine. These are good suggestions for someone who doesn't play RuneScape. This is good.
I played it a lot in the last few years. I just don't currently play it, so like names are a bit like I know who the characters are. I just don't know the names of them.
Can we just make sure they've got easy names like Ozan, easy. We don't want ridiculously long ones.
Ozan.
Can I get an O?
I
Can
guess
get a Zan?
what's the longest one we suggested? Hazelmere. Like that's not too bad, I guess.
It feels like I'm in Harry Potter casting a spell.
Expelliarmus.
Another question that we got was, what about Zay having maximum possible damage dealt? I don't like restricting something like that.
I don't
It does
like
have a
capping
max.
things.
Well,
And
yeah.
the max is 33.
33,
so
But I don't mind. I don't like artificially capping something.
No, that's definitely
Also,
Because it kind
if I
of
could
is
just-
capped already.
if I could just go to one comment in the chat, Musher equals Ice Poseidon. Yeah, I'll agree with that one. Big fan of that.
Question from Skizzik: is there something like foils or gold skins for the cards? Yes.
There's something
There are,
planned. If you go to craft a
you
card
can
at the
see
minute, it
You can
says
see the
upgrade.
upgrade button. Yeah, that's basically. So in Hearthstone, I don't play it at all, but I know you can get golden cards. It's a similar kind of thing to that. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to do it or what form it's going to take.
I'd like it to be
But it's
3D.
a similar idea. It's not going to upgrade a card as in give it better stats or anything, so it's not going to become pay to win. It's a purely
Could you imagine?
artificial thing, just a
What
cosmetic.
thing?
I'd like it to upgrade cards. KGP gives you 4 base attack. GG.
Costs 10k plat. Good luck, boys.
The upgrade, if they make it just golden, I think it's going to be very boring. They need to have their own spin on it.
Maybe
dunno.
change
Yeah.
the animations.
Make it
like,
3D.
alternate animations.
Make it
Yeah.
3D, so that when you're playing in VR, you can pick up the card and move
Oh
it
no,
around.
no! We can all, the really old 3D glasses that you used to take. To the
You blue and your red,
I'm showing
blue and your red
I'm
things
showing
on
my
them.
age here, but
Old man Glenn.
I think
One thing I'd
absolutely.
like to see if they do bring VR is an alternate way to concede instead of going into your menu and pressing concede, it's just flipping the table. Like,
just getting up and walking away, I think it'd be a better one.
Yeah, I'll do that all the time.
Rip Unforgiven's furniture. But yeah, as Vexy's pointed out, we've been going for nearly 2 hours here, and it's got really dark in everyone's rooms.
yes, sorry about that. My curtains are closed.
I made
Okay,
sure
it's
my
fine.
light was on. Like it was light in my room. Made sure my light was on because I had this experience.
Sorry, I
last
didn't think to do that this time.
I
My
hate
bad.
lights.
week. What is unlight?
I don't know what is unlight.
But yeah, that's gonna I think wrap it up for this week. You can catch myself and Glenn on Sunday here on the Friends of Al-Kharid channel. We will be doing the Sunday roundup for the Irish Chronicle League. I don't think.
so get your league games
Are
done.
you going to be back this
bitches.
Sunday? Because obviously
Yes,
you're away
yes.
last Sunday.
I'm not in Wales this weekend, so yeah, I'll be back.
Perfect. So that's where you can catch us next. You'll probably catch me and I don't know. Glenn, you might be streaming at some point. Unforgiven, you might be streaming. I know Musher, you can't at the minute.
have my stream. I stream when I ever feel like my internet and computer actually works.
Yep, you can catch myself. I'll post mine in a second as well. Glenn, you'll be streaming at some point probably.
Yes, I'm going to be
Um,
streaming next week, definitely.
But yeah, I'll be doing the Dungeoneering draft on mine at the latest Sunday, but probably tonight or tomorrow. More likely tomorrow. So
I guess the easiest place to catch me is probably drunkenly commentating on Game Grime Scream.
Perfect. And of course, a massive thanks to Vexy for all of her graphic work. As always, she's posted a link in the chat. What's this?
Not
It's
only is
showing
she a
stuff up.
brilliant artist and like did all this for us, she's also the best player in Chronicle.
Exactly that. But yeah, there's links down below us as well to go and check out her portfolio. She has actually I asked her for a piece of artwork earlier, which I was like, okay, I won't set it up yet because I don't know how long it's going to take. I asked her, and about 3 minutes later, she came back to me with a piece of artwork. I was like, oh, okay.
How's that even possible?
That happened. It's almost like she was waiting for me to ask. But yeah, she's absolutely incredible. So ask her for any artwork you need. You can catch us all in the
Make me
Discord.
your artwork.
You can catch us all in the Discord 24/7. And if you've missed parts of this podcast, I'm going to
Yes.
try my best to render and upload it tomorrow, but no promises. So,
soon.
yeah.
Are you sure you can promise that?
I don't know. But yeah, I'll have fun losing to you all on ladder. And
thank you to Unforgiven and Musher for coming on tonight.
yep,
Thank you for
It's
having
my
us.
pleasure.
especially at short notice. Like me and Glenn, we need to get better at this. We ask everyone
Yes.
last day, like, "Oh, you free in about 5 minutes? Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, that was meant to
I
be.
don't have a life.
That was meant to be going out tonight, but
Oh, you've had a much better time here.
Exactly.
oh yes.
So
I mean,
yep. To sum up, follow the stream if you've enjoyed. We're back here every Friday with same shenanigans. Hopefully better talk next week. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you in a bit.
bye.
Yep. See ya.
Peace.